What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming. I'm your host, Andrew, and with me, I have a special guest. He is Mack from Monthly Gamer.
Oh, hey. What's going on, guys?
You know what? I forgot to say the date. It is Thursday, July 8th. But it's all good. So, Mack, what have you been up to the past recent... whatever that means.
The past recent?
Yeah, the past recent.
Lately, man, I've been just kind of like, kind of sitting in the back working on my channel. I kind of, mostly I do video game stuff, just like a little variety show. Nothing specific, but we kind of just working on stuff in the background. Like I haven't uploaded anything in like the last 3 months.
Yeah, I'm noticing.
Yeah. I just been having a lot of personal, things going on or whatnot. I actually just got out the hospital.
Oh, snap. Oh, yeah, you told me. Okay, so just a heads up for everybody. So I met Mack. We were, it was somebody else's, like, Yu-Gi Pro or something. We were just talking about Dark Magician deck profile for Yu-Gi-Oh! And we were going back and forth, and it was like, hey, you got another way of talking rather than YouTube comments? And then we jumped to Twitter, and then I saw some of your stuff, and I was like, I feel like you're gonna be a big YouTuber, man. So I'm like, you know what? You seem like a real cool guy, and I'm like, come on the show. And then we've just been talking for the past month, maybe,
right?
On and off. And then you kind of disappeared, and then that's when you told me you were in the hospital, and so now you could take it away from there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I guess I was in the hospital. I was in the gym, and I was kind of like pushing it a little too hard. I was going a little too hard on the weights. Had a muscle injury, and then they had to check me out, make sure I was all good and all that. But I'm out now.
How long were you in for?
About like a week.
Sounds like prison. How long were you in for?
Oh my god, it felt like, dude, the food was awful. It's terrible.
Really?
Good lord, like they had like fries on the menu, got them back. They weren't even cooked, bro. They were like limp, gross, nasty. I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Oh no, French froze. That's what I meant to say. French
froze.
French fries. Were they the curly kind or the McDonald's knockoff kind?
They were like, yeah, McDonald's knockoff, but. You know how McDonald's fries are like golden and brown and crispy and appealing looking. These look like if you took like a, like a shredder or whatnot, and just like this straight potato, and then they were like, "Here you go."
Well, at least they fed you.
Yeah.
You can't complain. So, now that you're out, are you ready to make some videos for YouTube again? I saw like 3 months ago you said you were taking a break or something, right?
Yeah, so I started getting a large volume of like technology. Like I was just getting a bunch of like laptops and like different recording software and I was, as far as like me getting things, it was like at a quick clip. So I was trying to be like, okay, let me learn all this stuff. Let me figure out what editing software I need to use. Because what I was doing was I was recording everything on my phone. I was doing everything on my phone. So that's like recording, editing.
How do you edit videos on your phone?
Huh?
How do you edit videos on your phone?
There's video editors on there. There's was like LumaFusion.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
John, am I an old man?
Huh?
Am I an old man? I've never heard of it.
I mean, not really, because I had to look it up. I was like, my cousin let me. He was like, "Man, you heard of LumaFusion?" I was like, "What is that?" Yeah. But I'm moving everything. I'm shifting everything over to my computer. So now I got to learn other editing software and get all that stuff shifted over before I can, start back up.
Yeah, the video editor I use, which is what I do these videos in, and videos in air quotes because it's really just a thumbnail with audio. But I edit these thumbnails with audio in Final Cut Pro. And so for a while I was using the trial version, and then I had to bite the bullet and pay for it. And I was like, you know what? I'll just pay for it because I use it a lot. a lot in air quotes also, because I have my motion comic that I work on, and I have an animator who animates each page of my comic, and they send it to me in video format, and so I just have a whole bunch of video clips, like page by page, and so I got to do it all in Final Cut Pro. I'm like, if I want this to look good, I need to use the program, and I'm sure there are free programs that work just as good, and I don't know about them, but at that point I already had like the first 2 episodes, and basically every movie thing that I work on was in Final Cut Pro, and I'm like, I should just stick with having all the files in the same thing. You know, sometimes I'm a little computer illiterate, I guess, so I'm just like, just keep what I have.
Oh, dude, I feel like I'm a mummy. Like, I feel like I'm a mummy. Sometimes I'll be like, what is this? What is the, you know, I gotta, you know, figure out everything or whatnot.
Dude, why is everything so I feel like I know a lot, and then someone asks me about something, I'm like, what is that?
And yeah, exactly. So you just be like, it's because I'm 31, so I'm like, God, I hope to God I'm getting old, but like, God, I hope it's not people don't see it.
Yeah, I actually so I'm using an iMac that's almost 10 years old, and it was doing terrible in terms of everything was so slow, and just kept recently, within the past few months, it's been crashing like a couple times a day, and I'm trying to use Photoshop to work on my comic pages or artwork, or even just go on the internet. Everything's just so delayed. And so I'm like, you know what? I was looking into maybe getting a new computer, and then I'm like, there's gotta be something else I could try before I bite that bullet. I keep saying bite the bullet. Jeez.
I know you do a lot of bite.
Who's shooting me?
I know, you know. Have you been snacking on you know, lead, or you know?
Yeah. I'm a regular Van Helsing, or I don't know. That was probably a bad joke. Whoosh! Anyway, so my computer was only doing, it was 8 gigabytes of RAM, and everything on my computer was pushing it to like 7 gigs, and everything was slow. So I'm like, let me try upgrading the RAM. Sometimes these old computers can't handle too much RAM. But this late 2012 iMac should handle a bit of an upgrade. So I I boosted it, or upgraded it, whatever that word is. I upgraded it from 24, and now it's pushing 19 as we speak, 19.02 gigs. I'm like, and it's working a lot faster and hasn't crashed yet, knock on wood. My desk is wood, so I'm knocking on it. So you know, I'm wondering if, because maybe a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, we were doing this live with video, and I was using OBS, and it must have been because of the RAM that the computer would crash, and then I had to start it up again, and the episodes would be cut in 2, and then we were just like, we can't keep doing this, and then we just went back to audio. But I'm wondering if I can do that again, if the RAM is working fine. So.
Yeah, well, I hope you get that under control. I'm trying to avoid stuff like that because, like, I got 2 laptops. I got an HP Envy 60, and then I forgot what the other one was. I haven't even used it yet. But like, I'm trying to like keep them. Like, I'm trying to keep one for gaming and then one for work.
Mm-hmm. So you're a PC gamer?
Mainly console. Mainly console. I'm
Me
like,
too.
I'm just now like
100% console.
You said what?
I said 100% console for me, not mainly.
100% console.
Oh. Console.
Hey, listen, man. For the longest, me too. I said for the longest time, me too, man. I was just straight console. And then I was like, once I started doing YouTube, I was like, I'm gonna have to start.
I don't like digital games when I can buy them physically. So I'm like, I don't want to use Steam if I can actually own the game, like physically.
Yeah.
I think about times where, like, I had a good example, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I guess, like, PT is a great example of, like, a game. It was a demo, and they took it off the online store, and it's just, like, forever you can't play it. Now, if that was a physical... I mean, I know it wasn't a game, it was a demo. I mean, someone's going to argue with me that demos can be games. Yeah, I know. They're playable. That makes it a game. But, I mean, like, a full-fledged game that's not a demo. Like, I know it wasn't that, but even still, it's a good example of a digital-only game that they'll take off the digital store, and you'll forever have no more access to it, versus a physical copy that you will forever have access to, as long as it doesn't break.
It's always so unfortunate what happened to PT. Just to kind of go off the side track for a second.
Yeah.
It's always unfortunate what happened to that, because it's always like, you know, that was always a game it was always a demo. So and it just, the whole, you know, project got wrecked. You got, you know, the whole thing got canceled. So it was just like, on the one hand, it's always like, hey man, I want to play it. I want to keep that forever. But it's on the other hand, it's also like, you know, it was a really good demo, but it was just a demo. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
Did you like it? Did you play it?
I didn't get to play it. But I've seen enough of it, and I was like, oh my, this is the most terrifying thing. I'm not even playing it. And I'm like, this is the most terrifying.
Do you
thing
like horror games?
Absolutely.
See, I don't, but I like Resident Evil. That's like my exception. So when I played Resident Evil 8, there was a very terrifying moment that I don't want to spoil for anyone who doesn't know, but it's been all over the internet at this point. I'll just say baby.
Oh my god!
It was a horrifying part of that game, and I hated it because I don't like horror. But I love Resident Evil because at this point there's this giant series with all this lore, and it's just so interesting to me. This pseudoscience.
Yeah, I seen that too. I was like, I was like, nope.
I mean, pseudoscience in a sense where, like, it all sounds like it could be legitimate, everything, because they go into detail with all these data files, like how this, they added Ebola to this, and that caused this mutation, and it's just like, wow, this is so cool. Meanwhile, it's like, none of this would ever happen. Or would it?
No.
There was something really cool in Resident Evil Revelations, because that was the one that dealt with the cruise ship, and the T-Abyss virus had something to do with these fish that, it was like certain fish have this natural ability, I guess, to be fine under a certain amount of water pressure, I guess. I don't know how the physiological structure of the fish works, right. but they had this. They made up this thing. I'm assuming it's a made up. I've never heard of this outside of Resident Evil. But they made up this thing where this one species of fish could survive under pressure because of a virus that it carried, that only it carried. And I think it was dubbed Abyss virus or something. Yeah, I think it was Abyss virus. And it was what allowed the fish to basically not die from under pressure somehow. And so they took that and fused it with the T virus and made the T Abyss virus, which made all these mutant zombie fish creatures. And I was like, this is so freaking crazy. Like, this is so cool. It would never, like, it doesn't make sense in the real world, but in this world of Resident Evil where you could use this virus with this virus, like, this is so awesome.
Right. It made sense.
Yeah. It's like Resident Evil is and I know you'll get this reference, Resident Evil is the polymerization card for virus cards. It's like, what virus kind of resembles something that I'm going for? Oh, let's make up a fish virus so we can make fish mutants.
Exactly.
Like, so cool. So have you been playing any games recently, or no? Like, when you were in the, did you pull out your Switch or something?
Oh man, I was just like, when I was at the hospital, I was playing I have weird moods. I started playing Mario. I was just playing a bunch of Mario. I was like, you know what? I was like, I want to start out to get as many Mario games out the way. So I started playing. For some reason, I played 1, I played 2, or I played the Lost Levels.
Well, what do you mean by get out of the way? Have you played them before or no? And you want?
No. Yeah, I played all of them. I played every Mario. It was for like.
Mario.
You said what?
Okay, Mario. I can't play. Like, I tried playing the first Mario, and I struggled so hard to get to the last world, and I couldn't do it anymore. And
dude, it's so hard.
And so I just watched somebody play the last world.
In the first. It's so much harder than any of the other. I'm telling you, man. It's like the further back you go, the harder they get.
In my defense, I grew up with the Sega Genesis, not a Super Nintendo, so I never played those games. Like,
okay. Yeah, so
I didn't get a chance to adjust to them. But if you give me a Sonic the Hedgehog game, I will beat it without even getting a game over.
That's interesting because it would be the other way. Like it'd be the other way around for other people. Like they'll play Mario and then they'll go into Sonic and be like, I don't understand. You know, like a lot of people, I don't understand what's going on.
Like
and it's like, well, Sonic is kind of like the antithesis to Mario. So it's kind of like everything is like different. So it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
It doesn't play like a traditional platformer.
Yeah, when Sonic Mania came out, people were complaining about how hard it was. I was like, this was hard?
I was like, this is difficult? This
is easy.
Yeah, I was like,
I almost didn't get a game over. And I'll admit, I only got a game over on the last boss because I didn't understand what I had to do. And then when I had to redo the last level and got up to him again, I think I beat him without dying because then I got it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like Sonic Mania.
So I'm not gonna say,
a couple times with like maybe like the spider boss or whatnot, and I was just like, it was just little stuff here and there, but for the most part, I was like, oh, like as far as traversing the game, I was like, oh, this is like regular, like how I normally play.
Yeah, I died some like cheap deaths here and there. I'm like, oh, of course, like right. You know. I think like I got crushed under the spikes on the wall in the spider boss at one point, and I was like. Oh, okay. So like I know that would kill me, but you know, like I accidentally like ran into it. You know? and then I was like, all right, slap my face cheeks, time to get serious, like anime style, and then I just wrecked them. Yeah, I figured out in the last boss like there's a way you could do it without getting hurt, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like you run to one edge of the screen, then he goes after you there, and he starts electrocuting things, and you could run to the other side and not get hurt at all. And I'm just like, oh. Yeah. It's like you can like lead him to one side and then run to the other side while he's doing his attack, and you're just completely safe.
Yeah, I just start. I don't know why. I just start brute forcing stuff. Like
sometimes
I'll just get hit, and then I'll just tell just to keep the time, just to like speed up, like just to keep going. And I'll just be like, look, just take the hit, you'll hit them, and just take the hit, get the.
Yeah, there was a couple of moments in that game where I didn't quite understand, like, and I think in my mind I was expecting certain things to be a little more difficult when they weren't. Like, for example, the first boss of Green Hill Zone was and not mini boss, but the main boss was the Death Egg robot, and I was used to Sonic 2 where I was punished for touching that thing. So it's like, how am I supposed to hit the top? Meanwhile, I eventually, after a while, I saw someone playing and they like, the legs were not a hitbox, so they like walked by the legs. I'm like, you could touch the legs!
Exactly, yeah.
I think I did the same thing. I was hurting myself trying to avoid things I didn't need to avoid. So
I think I did the exact same thing because I was just like, I was so like shocked, like when it first happened, like when it just first, I was like, this is the first boss. I was like, good God. I was like, good no. I was like, good God, no.
I remember like at the end of Sonic 2 dying because I touched its toe, and then I saw like somebody playing and they were like running by the legs, and I think they ran past the legs to hit it behind or like in the lower stomach area. I'm like, you can touch the legs,
right? You can touch the legs. Not only that, you can get like I think you already like you can get behind them and then kind of just like cheese it and just keep hitting them from behind. That's
know that when you taught me not to do that in past games. And then the Metal Sonic boss fight, they redid it, or like they upgraded it, so they changed it so that he changes into the like quote unquote Metal Sonic Kai from Sonic.
What was the first one? Because I forgot
the first one was the first one. You were just racing him in like a loop. And there was a wall with spikes chasing you guys, and I think you just
I remember.
And they changed it so that instead of the wall of spikes, he turns into Metal Sonic Kai, and he's like doing the same thing that I don't know the name. It wasn't a Death Egg robot, but it was basically the Death Egg robot equivalent for Sonic and Knuckles, where like. Before Doomsday Zone, the last boss,
the little thing with the eye.
Yeah, you had to like hit the quote unquote egg robot's nose to like open the chest and hit the emeralds. Like basically the almost last boss, or basically the last boss of Sonic and Knuckles if you didn't get the Chaos Emeralds.
You talking about that one? Never mind.
Yeah. So I was so I was having trouble with that and I think for the same reason as the first boss that I mentioned, like I didn't know what I was allowed to touch, so I'm trying to avoid everything. And then I think I saw the same thing when someone was playing and they were touching stuff. I'm like, why? Like,
yeah, like how are you
make this more obvious what I can and can't touch? I'm dying here because because I'm trying not to touch anything, and then I'm getting penalized for trying not to touch anything.
There's like a weird thing going on with that boss where like I feel like every time I play it, like I still struggle because like I hit it and then like you'll fall back behind them and then you'll just off the level.
There's something real awkward with that Metal Sonic boss, and I don't know exactly what it is. I'd have to play it again to like remind myself why. I could beat it. I did beat it, and I didn't get a game over, but I'm still complaining about it. It wasn't that hard. It was just like, ugh. It was just like messy.
Yeah, I probably look somebody whatever. I don't know.
What?
I said I probably look up somebody whatever. I'll just look up somebody see how they did it.
Yeah. So I told you that we talked about this last week, and I'm gonna ask you about it. Do you read the Sonic comics since we're talking about Sonic?
I don't. I know Ian Flynn though, and I seen that you had him on, and I was like very impressed because I was just like, what? How did he get him?
Well, I don't want to spoil something that was in the comic, but I feel like enough time has gone by. All I'll say is there are some old characters that haven't been in much Sonic stuff in recent years that made appearances in the Sonic 30th Anniversary comic, which is set in the classic universe.
Yo, I haven't seen it. I haven't. I just seen that. Like I didn't. Is it out? Is that out?
Yeah, it's been out for a couple of weeks, maybe, or a week or two.
How much is it? Isn't there like a hardback version that's going to come out or something like that?
The hardcover is coming out, I think, in November, which I'm going to get.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pick that up.
I bought this, like I said last week, I have to sigh at myself because I think I bought each issue like multiple times because I just like. First I was buying the physical copy. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm not going to go on a long tangent about it, but basically in a nutshell, first batch issues I was buying the physical copies, and then I was kind of getting annoyed with where I was putting them all because I didn't have a lot of room for them, and then I downloaded the IDW app, and then I was buying the comics from there, and I went back and bought the ones that I bought the physical copies of, and then their app recently, it was doing fine, but whoever was running the app, like that company closed down, and it seems like they kind of scrambled to get up any version of the app that they could, and it's significantly less better, significantly not as good as it was. It's okay, or at least when I last looked at it, it was okay. So then I realized, all these issues are also on Kindle, and I have Kindle because I was buying like the Alita books and reading them on Kindle. I keep forgetting the word Kindle. I'm like Kindle. You know that e-reader thing.
I'm about to say, do people still use Kindle like that anymore?
Well, I use it.
I really haven't heard about it or heard anything from it in a while.
Well, they have the actual Kindle things, but I use the app on my phone. So basically, you can whatever has a Kindle version, and it seems like a lot of comics nowadays are Kindle versions. And so, whenever the Battle Angel Alita or Alita Battle Angel, whatever they called the live movie, came out, I was like, I want to see that movie because I always wanted to read the manga, but I never did. And then I saw that movie and I was like, I gotta read the manga now. And so I started reading it and they had it on Kindle because like I didn't know where exactly I could get the books because I think they were hard to get, and I ordered the omnibus collection of the first series. And then I was like, they have all the books on Kindle. So I just, I have, up to where I am, towards the end of the second series called Last Order, I'm got almost all the books. I'm like, and like a friend of mine was went to Hawaii, and I'm like, if you want to use my Kindle account to read some books, I got Alita in there. And on like the 13-hour flight, he read like 6 books, and he's like, dude, this is so good. But basically, I rebought all the Sonic comics again on Kindle because I'm a bit of a completionist, and I'm like, I have to have all the issues. So I bought a lot of them multiple times. And then I bought the soft cover trade paperbacks because I'm like, I have to own it physically if I stopped buying the comics. And now they reprinted, or they're doing like quote unquote omnibuses. I think they call them collections, and I think they put the issues in like recommended reading order. Or if not recommended reading order, they just have a collection of more than just the main book's issues. And so I'm like, I gotta get that too. Those are in a pretty hardcover book. So my next purchase,
regular versions of everything.
My next purchase will be buying issues 1 to 12 again in hardcover format.
I seen the hardcover. I was like, let me just get that. Just to backtrack a little bit. All right, so I'm assuming you're a Sonic fan because you're getting.
No. Yeah.
Sonic, the 30th anniversary. Did you watch the musical performance or whatnot?
Yes.
Dude, that was some of the craziest stuff I've heard. I was like, oh my god. I didn't think
why was there no Sonic Heroes music?
I did the same thing. I thought they played some of them, like some of the music out of order.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I thought they were going in order at first, and then they were like, they started going back and forth.
They did, like, they were going in order, and then they started, like, and then they skipped over CD, and I was like, why they skip over Sonic CD? And then same thing with Heroes. I was like, why they skip over Sonic Heroes? And then
I like how they used the Game Gear Sonic 2. I like how the song they used for that was Underground Zone, the first level, because that's the only one anyone ever played before they got up to the boss and couldn't beat it.
Right.
Because of the freaking antlion boss, where like the ball bounces down the hill, and you have no rings.
But yeah, and then they got to I thought they skipped over colors. I thought they skipped over Sonic Colors, and I was like, I seriously skipped over Sonic Colors. Are y'all silly in the head?
I don't remember.
And then they went back and played it, and I was went back and did it, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
There's probably a bunch of Sonic games they skipped that I'm not thinking of, but like when I think of Sonic music, a couple of, or more than a couple of songs pop out, and 2 of them are from Sonic Heroes. There's the main theme, Sonic Heroes, or as it's called, and then like the final boss music, What I'm Made Of, like at least the final boss music, What I'm Made Of. I'm disappointed that wasn't in it, but like everything else was great. Like that was great.
Good
orchestra, whatever you call it.
I
don't know what the name for that music thing was. Wait, what was it? Whatever, orchestra or what was that event called? There's a word for it. Why can't I think of the word?
Symphony?
Yeah. Symphony. It was a great symphony.
Oh yeah, I don't know which symphony did it or which orchestra. I don't know what the term is, but I was trying to figure out which ones, because I was just like, it was just so like. Do you remember the one year? It was one of the years where somebody was like, actually, the little clip that people play where they show the guy like singing into the microphone, he's singing Sonic Heroes, and it's really bad.
When?
Usually people like will talk about like Sonic concerts, or like they'll show like a clip, and then they'll show like one of the anniversaries that they had where there's like they were singing, they had a concert, and then there was a crowd in front of them, and a guy starts, some guy on stage puts the microphone in front of one of the fans in the crowd, and then the fan like grabs the microphone with 2 hands and starts singing, and like just wildly, like it doesn't sound good.
I don't know.
You don't know? You never seen it?
No.
Oh my god, you have to look it up. I don't remember which anniversary it is, but it's like really bad.
Well, I guess Remote was good this year for that, so they didn't have to worry about that.
But
Unless
like,
somebody,
I-
unless one of the people playing the instruments like drops their instrument and runs up to the mic and starts singing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
In my head, I was thinking like, oh, we're gonna have another instance of this, but it turned out like incredibly it turned out like something like Nintendo would do, where you're like, what the? Oh my god, this is like almost bringing me to tears. Jeez.
Speaking of Nintendo, they're the only ones who did anything at E3 this year.
I mean, oh my god, dude. Like,
and as I had said last week, I was still disappointed. But like with how little everybody else gave, like to me, I was like, all right, Nintendo, you got it. I'm disappointed with a lot of those announcements or the lack thereof, but with the pandemic, I'll let it slide, and the fact that nobody else brought anything, I'll let it slide.
it was. Speaking of that, the whole I recorded. I recorded. I haven't put anything out for 3 months or whatnot, but I still record stuff. And that was one of the things I was recording, and I was just like the whole E3, bro. I was just sitting there, just getting just angry because I was just like, what am I watching? What is this? What's going on? I'm like, we're watching Guardians of the Galaxy for like, mind you, nothing wrong with Guardians.
Oh my god,
we're watching Guardians of the Galaxy for like 20 minutes.
Like, Guardians of the Galaxy featuring Square-Enix.
I mean, just dude, I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. And then was it Square-Enix? Was it them? They put out something like they didn't show anything whatsoever at all, like nothing. Like I was like, I sat here and looked at my time. And the time I came back.
I was excited before that press conference or whatever you call that Square-Enix did, and after 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy's still going. I guess I should be wrapping up now. Like 10 minutes in, I'm like, any minute. 15 minutes in, I'm like, really? It doesn't look like it's wrapping up soon. 20 minutes in, I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, just.
And I have to say, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, it does look fun. Like, there's an interesting twist to it where you're the leader and you have to make decisions to lead the team, and you make decisions that seem like they would affect specific outcomes, no matter how small those outcomes may be in the end. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, come on, 20 minutes of this? Like, I get it. This is what Avengers failed to be, and then they're like, oh yeah, also Avengers is still available. Please play this game. We spent a lot of money and time on it. Like, well, maybe if you make it work,
maybe you made a better game, then
maybe if you made it playable.
Oh my god! And then the worst thing, oh my god, one of the worst things I've seen. I'm not even big in Final Fantasy, but it's funny, like when you're in the game,
the mobile thing,
dude. When it's funny, like when you're in the game and you just know when something bad is happening. Like I was just watching, and I was watching,
like the devil's looking over your shoulder, like here it comes,
dude. I was just looking. I was like, the remaster and all these. I was like, okay. Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, okay. They were like mobile versions. I was like, people are going to be instantly mad. I know it. I was like, I already know. I was like, you don't want to see that for anything. That's terrible.
Especially not after 25 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, why?
Yeah. And then what was that other game? The one where the guy kept on saying Chaos, like 20,000.
Like Fantasy Origins or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it? So I don't get it. Is it a prequel to the first Final Fantasy?
Apparently, yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess that's.
I think they showed a trailer or something for Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which I was like, okay, I don't have a PS5 and I won't anytime soon, so I don't want to see any more of this game that I want to play because it's gonna make me want to play it more. I'm not gonna like kill someone for a PS5 because it's not available.
Man, I can't even. I'm thinking about skipping out on PS5 altogether. Maybe I'm
waiting. Eventually, there'll be games. There's never games in the first few years.
No. But
give it 10 years. No, give it a couple of years. Because right now, a friend of mine explained to me that there's something called a parody clause, and not parody like haha mockery, but parody. I think it's like parity. If I'm spelling it right, and I don't even know exactly what it means, but he was trying to explain to me that there's something called the parody clause where they have to make, if any PS5 games they make, they like have to make for PS4 also for like the first 2 years. I don't know how true that is or what the rules for that are, because a game like Demon Souls only came out on PS5, but then again it's also a remake. But then Ratchet and Clank A Rift Apart is only on PS5, so I don't know what the rules for that are, but I guess it kind of explains why a lot of games are coming out for both PS4 and PS5. So it's kind of like there's no need to get a PS5 yet, but eventually there will be.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing, and Sony probably will never do this, but like, I think my biggest draw would be if they would put all the God of War games on there, because I'm a big God of War nut.
I wouldn't say they would never do it, but I wouldn't hold my breath anytime soon. No. They've made collections, and that's an easy moneymaker. But then again, when have companies ever done anything to make money easy? Like, come on, where's Fighters Pass 3 for Smash? Like, that's easy money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are you telling me the richest company in Japan can't afford to make a Fighter Pass 3?
Oh, they can. They just aren't going to. Honestly though, like if I'm being brutally honest, I love Smash Bros. To death. I'm kind of getting a little bit, I don't know, like maybe fatigue on it or whatnot, or anything like that.
Because this Fighters Pass sucks. Maybe it's the quality that's giving you the fatigue and not the support.
Well, it's more so like, I don't know, man. Like I think I'm just like I'm like, all right, we're done. You know what I mean? Like,
why do games? And I say this like all the time. Why do games like Fortnite get seasons of DLC when like one of the most popular games of all time, on top of like the fact that it's the game that people are always hyped to see for Nintendo, to the point where they have to tell people a new fighter is not going to be revealed at this presentation. It's like, you'd think that they'd want to keep it going.
Oh, I'll tell you. It's because they already made their money.
You think they're not profiting from DLC?
I think they're absolutely profiting. The thing is, I think that Nintendo has there's two things to that. Fortnite is still, you know, they've made, you know, billions. I'm sure they made billions of dollars, but they're still trying to, you know, keep that revenue going or whatnot. Nintendo likes to coast. Once they get to a point where they get successful, they like to coast. And you know, that might be the biggest issue right there, where you're like, why aren't they, you know, like Mario Party, for example, you would be like, okay, that's easy money right there. You can just easily put more boards on there, put more, you know what I mean? They just don't, you know what I mean? You just be like, why are you not? Why?
Get it? I don't get it. It's like disappointing. Like when I think about the fact that they could easily keep supporting the game. I mean, if it's because Sakurai needs a break or something, like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, can't Sakurai kind of take like a back seat and oversee and not actually do a lot of the coding? Like, why can't he kind of designate a character should have moves kind of like this and kind of oversee or get more people involved to work? Like, I don't know. There's got to be something where they can profit lots of money off of keeping the game going a little bit longer.
Well, I think with that, I think
they could at least round out the Fighter Select screen to make it perfect square or whatever.
you would think these things logically with Nintendo, but Nintendo does a lot of illogical things. Like, I think as far as like Sakurai goes, I think he is obsessed with being involved in his own product. You know what I mean? So he's like, you know, you would think like, okay, have a B team just kind of working on things or whatnot and have him overseeing it. But I think he likes to have his hand in things. He likes being so involved that, you know, he can't do that. You know, he doesn't want people to like touch his baby. So
you think we'll see a new Smash Bros. Game soon? Or you think they're done with Smash for like another decade?
They're probably gonna be done for a while.
I don't get it. And that's not a dig at Nintendo. I just don't get it. They probably have some sort of valid business reason for not supporting one of their most popular games, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to assume they have a reason, because I can't imagine them just saying, "Nah, we're done because we say so."
Yeah, because of Sakurai, and like they're gonna have to put somebody else in charge of that. And then my thing also is, where else can you go with Smash Bros?
That's why it makes more sense to keep it going as opposed to starting over.
Just starting over again, right? And it like, if they make another one, like, can they do all this again? Like, it's so
cutting out like half the content probably if they make a new one.
You know what I mean? Like, and it kind of makes me think like if they make another one, they would have to like do something drastic. Like, they would have to do something. I've always had this idea. They would have to like, and I know people would not be on board. I know a lot of people wouldn't be on board with it, but like, my first thought would be like to just keep porting Smash Ultimate for people that want to do that. And if they make a new one, it would they would have to do something drastic, like make it in like 3D, you know what I mean, or something along those lines, because it's like, where can you go after this? You said what now?
I'd be perfectly fine with porting Ultimate indefinitely from here till the end of time, and just adding new content with each iteration.
Exactly, and I'm like, you know, they have to like. Have you ever played this game called Power Stone? Have you ever heard of it?
Heard of it, yeah. I never played it though.
A lot of people used to try to make comparisons between those two back in the day, because they were like, Power Stone was kind of like a 3D version of Smash Bros. And I always thought, I was like, if they make another one, that would have to be the direction they go, because Smash Ultimate, there's so many characters and so many IPs and so many different companies involved. It's like, how can you do that again? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it you know, that's why I would just be like, just keep porting that one, because it's just if you make another one, it's like, what? Oh, we're gonna add more characters. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, when does it stop, or when does it? You know,
the only thing I can see a new Smash game doing well, we're not really making any like reinvention, like without reinventing the wheel. I can see it doing good. If they wind up cutting out like half the roster, I could see them making up for it by adding in like that same amount, half the roster of new characters. You know, then it kind of becomes like then Ultimate and then the new Smash kind of become the heads and tails of Smash, where it's like there's so many characters, but there's so many different characters in each game instead of like one building on the other. I can see that being like the only way to kind of do that justice, and it's still like would be a little disappointing. Like, imagine half the roster of what are we at, like 80? About 80 characters. Imagine cutting 40 of them out, but then the new Smash game also has 40 new characters that have never been Smash, and it's like, wow, who can these 40 new characters be? I mean, yeah, it sucks we lost 40 characters, but we also have 40 new characters, and then you can leave it up to mods to like put all 80 in the same game.
Right, exactly. I was about to say, the only thing about that is there's going to be a backlash. There's going to be.
I'm waiting on the Project M of Ultimate.
Oh my god! Oh jeez, I don't know how. That's going to take a while.
I don't need it though, personally, because Ultimate is pretty balanced. Brawl needed it because it wasn't so balanced. I don't think they really had the ability to update the game through patches and stuff, or at least not to the extent they do now.
Not only that, I think Sakurai at that point in time, he really was on like a kick of like, he was like really branding it. Oh, it's not this fighting game. It's not this fight. It's a party game. You know what I mean? And it was like he wasn't thinking about balancing it in that manner.
Yeah.
So it was just like he wasn't thinking about it in those terms, and that's why people were like, okay, this isn't. But
I think he sees it as both now. I think he understands and sees and hopefully appreciates that people play the game two different ways. On average, two different. I mean, everybody can play their own way. Some people like, playing with items on. Other people play with off. People like stage hazards. Whatever. What's wrong with you? People. No, I'm just kidding. People. People. I like the customizability of how you play it, and because of that, I'm sure there's so many different ways people play. But I feel like Sakurai should, or maybe appreciates, that there's like two major ways to play the game, and that's like a 1v1, like no items, Final Destination Fox only, and and just like everything, like all hazards, all items. You know,
you can tell. Yeah, you can tell by how he balanced, or not balanced, but like you can tell by how he developed Ultimate. Because there's a lot of it is catered towards that, that crowd, and then there's a whole other half where it's just like, hey, if you want to play this as this like party game, you do that too. So he definitely gave people options in that front.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you then, which characters were you hoping for? Which, because like we've discussed this on the show for the past, like ever since Ultimate was announced. So I gotta ask you, what were your expectations? What were your expectations? What characters did you want? Are you disappointed certain characters didn't get in, or are you disappointed that certain characters did get in over others? Like, what are some of your thoughts on Smash? Like,
I'm gonna probably give a boring answer, but I grew up with Smash Bros, so I'm just like, whenever they add a new character, I'm excited. You know what I mean? Like there was never a time where I was just like, there's never been a time where I've been like, they need to add this player, or this character, or this or that. You know what I mean? Like it's always been like, oh man, that's a new character. Like it's almost like you getting a new toy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, like what is this? What is you kind of get it. And you're like, oh man, this is cool. This is fun to play with and all that. That I feel like that trend didn't start until Ultimate, where there were season passes and people were expecting people to come. So and then like ever since who was like the first, like who would you say is like the first like crazy character that got in that like people were like
Banjo and Kazooie? For me,
that's probably the one.
In Japan, it was Hero.
Yeah.
Did anybody care about Joker?
No.
I guess some people did, but
I mean, I'm sure Persona fans did, but like
it was Piranha Plant was kind of like the start of it, and I was kind of like, we kind of talked in length about this last week, but Piranha Plant was kind of like the he felt like the last character that they didn't have enough time to squeeze in, so I wasn't too mad, but it still felt like a character of like, well, you could have picked somebody else. Like, why is generic bad guy number 3 going in?
Yeah, like people.
I don't understand some of the choices, but Sakurai, I guess he does what he wants to do.
I would say a lot of them are. I mean, most of the characters are pretty prominent. There would be more obvious choices. Like I know, like just like for the last character, I'm planning on making a video, so I'm gonna whack where I'm like, look, I don't know who's gonna be the last character, but I'm about to.
But it will be disappointing.
It's going to be disappointing for sure. Like people are going to be disappointed. But I'm making this giant list of it has to be one of these characters. It's got to be one of these characters. Damn it! Like one of them. Like it has to be one of them. But
if you throw darts at a dartboard enough time, you'll eventually hit a bullseye.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So you're gonna list every character in existence. Of course, it's gonna be one of these, right? And then it winds up not being one of those because it's from a game that's not out yet. And you're like, damn it, I wasted my time.
Yeah. So, but I know like people were, people want
Joe Schmo from Breath of the Wild 3.
Hey, right, exactly. I know people were, were wanting Sora.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who else? Who else is left?
Shantae's out of the running now, but
yeah,
I'm
he's
actually
done.
Happy with, like, it's better than nothing. The costume is beautiful, and her face in general is cartoony enough that it looks okay as a Mii fighter. Like a character like Dante, for example, who has a realistic human face, the Mii face looks a bit awkward on him. But then even the creator of Shantae, Matt Bozon, and I forgot his wife's name, but Erin, I think Erin Bozon, or Erin. If I don't know if she took his last name or if she has a different last name, but Matt and Erin, they made a Mii fighter. Then they made like they put a voice to it, and then they put it up for download. Like this is like It feels like it's the official Shantae character.
Yeah. They've been doing that with the costumes, where there's some of them like I will buy the ones that seem like they're like official. Because like you said, like with Dante out, like also by the way, but Dante's out he's out the running. But Dante, they showed him, and I'm like, yeah, it looks kind of, he looks kind of, he's not making a cut. But yeah, I've been like kind of like with Sans. They did him, Cuphead.
Saiyans? Like DBZ Saiyans? Oh, Sans. They said Saiyans. I was like, dude.
Oh yeah, Saiyans from Dragon. Yeah, you didn't know they were in the game?
Cupheadball Z.
But yeah, they look like characters. So I'll buy those, and love a lot of other ones. I'll be like, I don't need that one. I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just get them all because I want to have a complete game. And the Mii Fighter costumes are only like a few cents each. Look at me, first world problems, only a few cents each. While people are starving around the world. It's like, I want a complete game. Look at me, my first world video game. 70 cents, okay. Meanwhile, people are begging on the streets. Ugh.
Exactly. It's always.
I feel terrible.
It's always like that. What can you do?
Like less complaining over characters in a video game.
That's my thing.
How dare they not cater to my needs?
That's my thing. Like when people seriously, like when people get really violent over it, I'd be like, dude, man, it's a video game, man.
I don't get to that point. There's no reason to get to that point. I understand being disheartened and disappointed, but violence is like, please just do the violence to yourself.
Yeah, like people start sending like death threats and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Get it. I mean, I guess I get it to an extent in terms of Crazy Land, but I mean, I don't get it. I get why anyone would enter Crazy Land, but I get it if you're in Crazy Land.
I mean, Crazy Land, there's no rules, So
yeah. I was trying to think of a Candyland joke to go along with Crazy Land, but I couldn't think of one. I was trying to think of something like Chutes and Ladders, but I'm like, no, that's the wrong game.
I mean, I'm about to say Crazy Land Candy. Those are kind of like they might be in the same, wheelhouse. They might be in the same universe.
Crazy Land and Candyland.
Candyland. Have you sat down and looked at that? Like if you like imagine
played
yourself
all the time
there?
as a kid.
Do you know how fast you get diabetes? Good
So
lord!
Once you get diabetes in Candyland, everything becomes Crazy Land. It's all like perspective. It's like you from your perspective, everything changes, but you're the same, but you're just sick.
Everything just slowly turns into a hospital.
Or you fade from existence and fade into Crazy Land. It's like two sides of the same coin.
You like to see this? You just
It's like the Twilight Realm.
Pains as it start like just slowly. It's like, what is this IV? What is this doing here? What is this? Huh?
Oh my god!
What is this? Medicine capsules? What is this? What's going on?
Oh my god! I'm trying to think of a joke and I can't think of one fast enough. Oh my god! Oh my god! No! I was trying to think of like a candy term that sounded like diabetes. I was gonna say like that turns into diabetes, and I'm like, I can't think of it. Oh well. Nothing against diabetes. I mean, that's shitty if you have it. Best of luck. I mean, whatever. But just having fun. But Crazy Land, definitely there are people in Crazy Land.
Yeah.
A
lot of Nintendo fans.
A lot of what?
Huh?
A lot of what fans?
A lot of Nintendo fans.
Oh yeah.
The Crazy Land.
Were there any characters in particular you were hoping for though? Like
as far as the last fly go,
even started, was there? And like, did any of your hopes get in?
Banjo, I know that. I was shocked. I was like, I couldn't believe that. I also couldn't believe Ridley. I couldn't believe Ridley. I was like, dreams are coming true with this game. I was like, there's anything is on the table after I seen Banjo. Who do I want to see? I guess I still want to see Crash. I could go for Sora. Who else is in there? A lot of people were saying Master Chief. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would be
too many like normal humans. Give us like, let us end with a cartoony character,
Yeah.
cartoony human like Sora. Like
Right.
it's just everybody's like realistic man. DLC number 70, realistic woman. DLC number 71, realistic man. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I get it, they're iconic, but like the roster is looking a little bit too humanoid.
Yeah, I might have to look through that again because you might be right.
It was Joker.
Joker.
Hero kind of gets a pass because he's a little more anime, I think. I mean, I guess Joker is too, but I feel like he's a little closer to cartoony. Banjo-Kazooie, definitely cartoony.
He's definitely
Terry
cartoony.
is Mr. Man. Violet is Mr. and Mrs. Man and Woman, I guess, respectively. I think that was Fighter Pass 1, so there was like 1 pushing 2 cartoon
Steve.
character. That was Fighter Pass 2. So that was Min Min, we had humanoid again. Steve, we had a wasted of character. I'm just kidding. We had a cartoony character. Then we had Sephiroth, who was like humanoid again. And then we had...
I've been paying attention. You're right.
And then we had Pyra and Mithra, who were humanoids. And then we had Kazuya, who's humanoid. And like, if we end off with like a humanoid that's not Sora, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Like, even if we left off with Dante, I would have been a bit disappointed at like the physical appearance of like the DLC. Like, come on, they're all, except for Steve, like they're all just humans. Like, where's the cartoony characters?
I feel like they're gonna pull something where it's just massively like just a wet fart. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
I mean, they did leave off on
not even a wet fart, just a dry fart. Like, just, you're gonna be like, what? Like
Sakurai's
I don't
just
know,
gonna
like,
like, here's my he's gonna be like, here's my fart. Or I don't know, someone else's fart. Who cares? F you. I'm done.
Because like the first Fighters Pass, who they end off of? Who they end with? Didn't they end with Didn't they end with? Wasn't it Violet?
Violet, yeah. It was disappointment.
Yeah, it was Violet.
Although I like Violet, but it was not the character to end off a Fighters Pass with.
No,
They saved themselves when they announced the second Fighters Pass. At that point, it was kind of like, okay, all right, it's not done yet.
Yeah, so you're
do that
thinking,
again. Boy.
Again, what we were talking about, like, you would think like, okay, a company, they know they can read their audience, they know what's going on, they know what's up, you know. That's what I'm saying. Like, in our minds, in the fans' minds, we're like,
Well, the fact that we don't have a third Fighters Pass, I question if they can read the fans' minds.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about, though.
I
But,
feel
like,
so entitled saying that, but I'm coming out of a place of like what I'm assuming would be a good business decision. I guess it's not, considering they're not doing it. But then again, has Nintendo always done 100% good business decisions? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure they've made decisions thinking it would be a good business decision.
Just like, do they not see the potential profit? Or maybe there is no potential profit of a third Fighters Pass.
I don't know. I mean, it might be. But, like you said, yeah, you would think that the last character, you would think they would go off on a bang. But something in me is like they're gonna be like, I don't know. They're gonna be like
What?
another Fire Emblem character.
It's the main character from Fire Emblem Fate of the Wet Fart. You can also play as female Wet Fart.
Oh my god!
Come on. Oh, and we made sure to give Wet Fart a sword. Because you can never
give him a sword. Give him a sword. Anime.
He based their moveset off of Marth. Oh.
He's not an Echo Fighter, I swear.
Yeah. Just like he's as much of his own character as Dr. Mario is. Oh my god.
The last character is gonna be Goomba. It's gonna be a Goomba.
Oh my god. I just picture like Sakurai being like, "Don't ask me for anything ever again."
You probably. Honestly though, I kind of
like,
want to.
also, this DLC will never come out because I'm done.
That's true.
F you. And then the presentation ends.
I do
It
want him
ends
to
with the
make another
Smash
game.
theme. What?
I said I do want him to make another game though. Like, I do want him to work on another game.
Another Smash game or just another game?
just another game. Like I want to see what he does because like what was it before Smash? Like the last one he did was Kid Icarus.
Smash Bros is such like a giant title that like wanting Sakurai to make more Smash is almost like wanting Nintendo to make more Mario or more Zelda. Like it's become that it's gotten to that point where that's why it's so disappointing when like something doesn't go the way you want in Smash because it's gotten that big. And I feel like Nintendo has sort of been falling short of living up to that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not always. I mean, they didn't even have to make 2 fighter passes. I mean, it's great that they supported it for this long. But, like, I don't feel like I'm that entitled to want a little bit more of one of the, like, biggest fighting games in history.
No.
Like, I feel like I feel like I'm coming off as entitled, but, like, they should make more. Like, not even just a 3rd Fighters Pass, but, like, a 4th Fighter. Like, they should support this game, especially when the Switch seems to still be so early in its lifespan. Like, all the other Smash games were made, and then, like, the system didn't last that much longer.
Yeah.
Like, maybe a couple years, but Switch seems like it's still going strong. Like, what are they going to do? I don't know.
Absolutely is. It's still, it's every month that goes by, it's the highest selling system. But like you said, like you in your head you would be like, okay, this is the business move, you know. But like Nintendo likes to coast. They kind of just, you know, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, where it's just like it's Grand Theft Auto is selling since Grand Theft Auto hit the market. I don't know what, like it's been like 10 years since it hit the market. They have been in the #1 selling like games like every single year, in the top 10 every single year. And it's just like, I don't know but like they'll, you know, Rockstar will look at that and they'll be like, we're not going to, you know, we're going to take our time making another game because we're just kind of riding the coattails of Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, we're not going to really do anything. It's the same thing with Mario Kart. Like, they should have had another Mario Kart.
Yeah, where's Mario Kart 9 and 10 and 11 at this point?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should definitely have had 9, but like 8 Deluxe is selling ridiculously. So
yeah, I guess that's kind of what's going to happen with. They probably want to pull a Mario Kart 8 with Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, no, don't you want money? I don't get it. Don't you want money?
But
this isn't like Mario World where you can just like port the same game over to every system. Like, you might have some trouble porting Ultimate to a new system with all the like third-party licensing. So just keep pumping money out with more content. Yeah. Even if there's no more Fighter Pass and you just occasionally add like a fighter, like they did with you know, because they didn't have a Fighters Pass for 3DS and Wii U, so it's just like people would be hyped for a presentation and they would see a DLC fighter that was never promised. So it's like, if they can do that without a Fighters Pass, and maybe they'll announce like a new character every year, like that's better than nothing. I'm sure they would still make money off of that, and the hype that would generate. But the fact that they said this is the last fighter, like they didn't say this is the end of the Fighters Pass, there'll be no more fighter passes. They said this is the last fighter. So it's like they're not even interested in making like a new fighter once in a while.
Yeah.
You know? I don't get it. They're just like done with it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more times I can say that until I'm satisfied. I feel like I'm just constantly saying that every episode now. I'm like, don't get it.
It's disappointing, but you know.
I hope they have a good reason, because if they don't, I'm going to just be angry and nothing over it but stew in my anger. How dare they not support this game that they have, that I have no business them doing for me, or how are you phrase that? I don't know. That they have no necessity to keep doing. Where is Fighters Pass 3, damn it?
Yeah, good things have to come to an end.
No.
It unfortunately. But
not if you have the power to stop that.
What's up? Wait.
And the money, because you're the richest company in Japan.
Yeah, but
I can understand if they weren't making money anymore.
you know, sometimes here's the thing about
There are still people who don't have Switches. If they're still selling Switches, I'm sure they're still selling copies of Smash Ultimate.
Here's the thing. I've got it all figured out. You got it figured out.
Do you?
Here's what Nintendo. Here's what Nintendo is in a nutshell. Okay, when they're doing bad, when they're doing awful, like the Wii U, that's when they want to be like, all right, we gotta really kick this into gear. That's when you start getting good stuff. You start getting the good things. You know what I mean?
Are you saying that Smash Ultimate's DLC is ending because it's too good of a game?
Yeah. I'm saying that.
Damn it! Why didn't Smash Ultimate suck? Then we get a 5 Fighters passes.
I'm saying that they're insanely successful right now, so they're just like, we don't have to. They're one of those. They don't keep the momentum going, so they're
Pokemon
just
syndrome.
Yeah, pretty much.
We don't need to put all the Pokemon in the one game where you gotta catch them all.
Don't let me start. Don't let me get.
Don't even let me finish this tree model.
Don't let me get on Pokemon because I'll start. That's a whole.
Yeah, but that's something you can't blame the team. You gotta blame the team leaders. Everybody was, from what I heard, when they were working on Sword and Shield, they were so excited and they were like giving it their all. And I get that, and nothing against them. But the people who made those decisions to like cut corners is like. Really? I mean, you're cutting corners on one of the most popular franchises or the most popular franchise in the world? You're cutting corners on it?
I mean, and part of
these spin-off games look better than the mainline games. Legends Arceus looks like what Sword and Shield should have been.
Exactly, right? And it's kind of a double-edged sword with that one because I feel like I feel like people were really pressuring them into making games like in between systems, like when the Switch was first coming out. Like there was a lot of pressure people were like really pressuring Game Freak to be like, or the Nintendo or the Pokemon company. Sorry, I can't talk. But they're really pressuring them into being like, hey, put a Pokemon game on it. We don't want Ultra Sun and Moon. Put a Pokemon game onto the Switch, and that's like I think we're getting a result of that. But on the same hand, they've cut so many corners.
There's like one thing I want from Gen 8 before we go to Gen 9, and that's where's my mythical pixie? Every gen has a mythical pixie, and this one is missing one. In fact, we only have one.
That
mythical.
One, doesn't it? Doesn't it have like the little deer-looking thing with the big head?
It's not mythical.
That's not mythical?
No, I think it's legendary. And even if it was mythical, it doesn't fit the mythical pixie like each one of them. Mew, Gen 1 had Mew. Okay, so I'm going to name them all, and you can tell they all have like that little bobblehead body, like they have like a certain physical appearance they all have in common. So Gen 1 had
Pokemon Rat, Mew, Mew,
Kabuto, Persian, Paris, Horse. Gen 1 had Mew, Gen 2 had Celebi, Gen 3 had Jirachi, Gen 4 had Manaphy, Gen 5 had Victini, Gen 6 had Hoopa, Gen 7 had Marshadow. They're all those little, like, almost like chibi super deformed. Mew is a little bit different, but overall kind of has that similar vibe to it. I forgot his name, but I forgot his name, but that deer thing just doesn't match. It's and it's not even mythical anyway, apparently.
The deer thing? Which one?
The one you were saying in the
new one
DLC. Yeah, I just checked earlier today, like a list of mythical Pokemon, and there was only one for Gen 8, and it was Zarude, which was that monkey. And it's like bigger than human, like because in the new movie there's screenshot of it carrying a child. I'm like, this is not a mythical pixie.
Wait, hold on, pause. Zarude is he Gen 8?
Yeah.
The Kung Fu monkey?
No, wait, not Kung Fu. You're thinking Cub Fu.
Oh, okay, all right.
That evolves into Urshifu.
Okay.
I'm talking about Zarude. It's like this monkey from this jungle thing. He's like,
what type?
I want to say dark grass. I want to say, but I'm not sure. He's the only mythical. Cub Fu, I think, was legendary. I get confused over legendary and mythical. I still don't quite know the difference. Like, the only way I know the difference between a mythical and a legendary is because I'm told it's mythical or legendary. That's the only way.
usually mythical Pokemon, you got to get them in like some type of event or something. Like you can't just catch them in the game. I think that's usually how you kind of categorize them.
I guess so. I mean, I guess one can argue if Kubfu is a mythical. I guess one can argue he's the mythical Pixie, but none of the mythical Pixies evolve, and Urshifu, its evolution, is totally not a mythical Pixie.
Wait a minute, time out. What about Manaphy? Does Manaphy evolve?
Manaphy, no. It has a like a branch baby form of Fione or Fione.
Yeah.
Like if you try to breed it, it produces Fione, and it's like a common in the wild or something.
Yeah. That's such a weird. That one's weird.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at it right now. Legendary Pokemon Gen 8 had Zacian, Zamazenta, Eternatus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. Eternatus, Kubfu, Urshifu, Regieleki, Regidrago, Glastrier, Spectrier, Calyrex. And mythical is just Zarude.
Most of those that you named off, I'm blanking on.
That's how forgettable Gen 8 is. I hate to say that because I love Pokemon in all the gens, but it's just the game itself was lacking.
I mean, really, like I seen it and I was just like, I waited until it came all the way out, and it was one of those where I was just like, I don't want to spend money on this if it's not worth my time. So I
played Sword and I played Shield, and I played the DLC for both. And after playing the complete package, I'm like, it's good, but it's like the weakest Pokemon game.
That sucks.
And that's getting past like some of the graphics. They weren't terrible. They could have and should have been better for the Switch, but graphics aside and just the game, like if the graphics were the best graphics ever and pushing the Switch's graphics capabilities, the game itself still was like lacking because they refuse to have any villains anymore.
I told you, man, if you start going on Pokemon, I'm gonna go on a whole tangent. I had a thought maybe like a couple of days ago. I was actually really like thinking about this, and I was like,
I'm gonna send you a link to Zarude just so you know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know who Zarude is.
No, I'm blanking on it.
He does look really cool. He's just not a mythical Pixie, and I'm waiting on my mythical Pixie.
I feel like when you show me, I'm going to be like, okay, I know what you're talking
about. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. It was like revealed a year ago, a year ago.
But I had a thought about this, man. I was just like, because my Pokemon has never had they've always had outdated graphics, always since the very first game.
Yeah, but at least they had the gameplay to back it up.
Well, here's the thing. The focus used to always be on the Pokemon and their personalities. Even when you like, that was the draw of the first game. Like if you look at the first game, the animations are crude compared to how we know them now. But a lot of those Pokemon drawings and sprites and all that stuff, they had a lot of personality to them. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Like you can't deny that. Like when you look at them, you're like, whoa, like you know what I mean? Like it's a big bat with his tongue sticking out. Like what is this thing? You know what I mean? And I think up until I want to say up until like Pokemon X and Y, they've been using the exact same models for every single game since Pokemon X and Y.
Well, I think that was the point. They had declared a while back that they were switching everything to 3D models so that they would have the ability to reuse them indefinitely so that they wouldn't have to cut any out, and they still cut them out.
Right, but
like
exactly.
They said we're doing this so that we can have assets to reuse from here on out, and then they were like, nah.
Right, exactly.
I guess you can argue that it was because they, with the Pokemon animations, where the Pokemon's following you in the DLC, or like the camp, when you can like camp with your Pokemon and they like walk around and stuff, and it's like, I don't want to hear your excuses.
Hear that. It's been when did Pokemon X and Y come out? They came out
I'd rather have all the Pokemon in a game than have less than half the Pokemon, if that's what it was, or just like have an incomplete list of Pokemon and be able to play at a camp with them, which I never even bothered to do because I wasn't playing Pokemon to play camp with them. I was playing Pokemon to play the game.
Right, exactly. Cut all that stuff out.
If you want to do Pokemon Camp, do a spin-off game called Pokemon Camp.
Cut all that out. But that's my whole thing. Like they're putting all their energy into stuff like that instead of being like
again in the wrong area.
Exactly. Like here's my point.
Cool. I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, but I'm just so angry now.
But
I feel like I have a real bad habit of interrupting people. I apologize for that.
No,
but
you're
like,
fine.
it's like, I feel I need to talk about this alongside you.
No, anytime you have stuff like this, it's going to happen because it's, you know. But like I said, since X and Y, the animations have been exactly the same. Like they haven't even like the point is, that's what they wanted to go with. But like my thing is, ever since then, there has been no change to the models. When you go look at X and Y, or when you look at Sword and Shield, when the Pokemon animate, except for like maybe like the starters, which they have moves that are like a little bit more animated or whatnot. You look at every Pokemon, they do the exact same. They barely move, they barely animate, they barely like show any facial expressions. They barely do anything. And it's like it's really boring to look at. You know,
I will say, Sword and Shield did introduce one of my favorite Pokemon now, and that's Grimmsnarl.
Grimmsnarl, which one is that?
That's the Dark Fairy, who has that really badass Gigantamax form, where he looks like he's like this demon hovering.
Oh, like the black green one.
Yeah, the green one who has like the black hair all over his body, and like he uses the hair for like his limbs and stuff. I'm like, yo, this guy's badass.
Yeah, he's dope.
If Sword and Shield did anything right, it introduced Grimmsnarl. It was Pokemon Grimm and Pokemon Snarl.
Yeah, Corviknight.
Yeah, there was a lot of awesome Pokemon. I'm just saying Grimmsnarl was my favorite, but out of that gen. But there was a lot of really good in terms of the Pokemon, not the game, not the graphics, not all that other crap, but just in terms of the Pokemon, new Pokemon that were introduced, there was a lot of really good ones this gen.
Yeah, those pretty good ones. Yeah, for sure.
At least a handful. At least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture of Grimmsnarl right now. I'm just like, I love this little guy. I have like this dream team, like if like Pokemon was real, and I always think like who would make it on my 6-man team, and I'm like, Grimmsnarl, you're on my team. And it's just like that's the only thing Sword and Shield did right was introduce a new member of like my top 6. I'm like, all right, thank you, Sword and Shield, but too bad you weren't actually a playable game. No, I'm just kidding. It was playable, but you get it. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I got you. I'm definitely waiting for Legends. I think I might skip over.
I'm gonna get the Diamond and Pearl remake.
You said what?
I'm gonna get the Diamond and Pearl remake. I'm interested in playing a good Pokemon game again. Diamond and Pearl was actually one of my least favorites, but I'm hoping to kind of get like a fresh view of it again and maybe like dig deep. I'm sure it's gonna be better than Sword and Shield was.
Oh yeah, for sure. If they're following the the original game, I think
it's like a different team working on it, which God bless.
Yeah. It's different.
It's like the Pokemon team can't even do Pokemon anymore.
I could possibly get sucked into it, maybe, but like I just looked at it and I seen the Pokemon models and I was just like, dude, it's the same. This is X and Y. It looks like X and Y.
Why couldn't those models be in the Switch? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are little like nitpicks I have when people say stuff too, and when people say that they want the national Dex back, I'm like, you don't want the national Dex. You want the Pokemon. The national Dex is just like the encyclopedia of them all. Like technically, Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon didn't have the national Dex. They had all the Pokemon, but a chunk of those Pokemon didn't have Pokedex entries because they didn't have a national Dex.
Yeah.
It's like semantics. I know what people mean, but I just feel like if you want something, say it right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
hey, you want all the Pokemon, not the national Dex. Because then they
use the right term
and be like,
so
you want the national Dex? Like, here's the national Dex, but you still don't get all the Pokemon. It's
right.
Like, that's not what we meant, but that's what you said.
Exactly. Bring back national Dex. What are you guys talking? We got a national Dex.
Here's your national Dex, but where's the Pokemon? You didn't say you wanted the Pokemon. You said you wanted the national Dex.
What are you guys talking about?
Here's your national Dex entries without your access to the Pokemon in the national Dex entry.
God.
Oh my God.
You guys know, God, you just.
The nerve. I tingled your nerves. But but Grimmsnar's cool. I'm still looking at the picture of him.
Yeah.
It warms the cockles of my heart.
Grimmsnar's pretty cool. I think I've gotten used to the starters at this point, but I still don't really like them.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're not.
I like the first 2 stages of them more than the last ones. I don't like. Inteleon grew on me, but I still don't really like him that much.
Yeah, they really dropped
okay.
the ball. Yeah, they really dropped the ball on the last evolution. I do this thing where I see the last evolutions and I'm like, okay, that's who I'm gonna pick.
Well, this gen had art direction. I think it was they had a new art director and he was from America, and I'm like, okay, that's cool and all. I love how you're expanding, but did you really want to test that on a mainline game? I mean, you gave me Grimmsnarl and some other awesome Pokemon, but the starters are basically the Powerpuff Girls. They all have round heads, round eyes, and sharp. Where's my very diverse shapes? Where's my turtle, dragon, and frog dinosaur?
And my thing is, I don't even have a problem with the first or second evolutions. It's just when they go to the third, I'm like,
thirds are just so they're like a mix between Pokemon and Digimon.
Yeah, they look more like Digimon.
I'm like, I don't even remember their names. There's Blaze Rabbit and there's Rillaboom. I remember that name, and Inteleon. I don't remember the rabbit. Grass Gorilla, Fire Rabbit, and Water Lizard. Water Chameleon.
I'm trying really hard to really remember that.
And I've heard the name so many times because people keep saying it's gonna be the next Smash character, jokingly. I guess jokingly. But I'm like,
Lord, no.
But that's how forgettable it is.
Yeah,
big art director. I mean, they're good designs. They're just not I feel like they're not strong Pokemon designs. Who approved of this?
I don't know.
I feel like art direction in general has gone from unique to let's all have round-headed, cutesy characters in all our cartoons on TV and everything nowadays. It's give me some original. Look at old school Cartoon Network and look at Cartoon Network now. Every character's the same now. Where's my cow and chicken? Why is this human number 56 with round head, round smile, and big
Isn't
eyes?
that what Pokemon feels like? You know?
Yes.
It's you
Except
look at Pokemon
Cool.
Okay, this is kind of Rattata right here, and then this is kind of Squirtle right here, and this is kind of it's like that time you see a new Pokemon.
But the problem is now the designs are so similar between the different species in the same gen. Blitbug versus Fire Bunny is they both have the round head, round eyes, that cutesy look. And then you look back at Gen 1 and you're like, Caterpie and Squirtle, they don't look similar at all. There's just an overall artistic, and this is I guess a tangential conversation, but there's just this whole artistic aesthetic nowadays as opposed to back then where everybody's oh, this is the design kids like, so we're gonna just try to do what kids like, and it becomes big round head with round smile, big round eyes, small body. Every character in everything now has that, and it's please show me some originality. Show me a dragon body like Charmander,
or something like that.
The same thing over and over again.
And this goes back to the animated thing I was saying, the Pokemon being having a lot of personality. There's a lot of newer Pokemon too where they just kind of look like animals, just regular animals. They have no character to them. It's just this is a butterfly, and I'm like, this is just a butterfly.
You mean Gen 1?
Huh?
Are you talking about Gen 1 designs?
No. I'm talking about the newer designs where it's just you're just that's a butterfly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I guess you can draw comparisons between that and the original 151, but there's a large.
I feel like an old man yelling at shaking my fist at the sky, saying back in my day Pokemon were good. But it's a lot of I'm not saying all the Pokemon now are bad. I'm saying a lot of them are good. It's just there's an overall aesthetic of the same. I'm looking at a list now. Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, Squovit, Blipbug, like a chunk of these right from the beginning of the game. They're all like big head, small body, big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to Gen 1, and it's like there's not too many similarities between Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Caterpie, Weedle. I guess Caterpie and Weedle are similar, but they're also designed different enough to not look exactly the same.
Yeah. I think, and my thing is like, I'm not even like, like a lot of people like, I'm a Gen 1 or Gen 2, or I'm not even, I'm not
a Gen 1er. I love, like, all the gens, really. There's Pokemon from all the gens that I really like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like up until Gen 5, like, or I didn't have no problem with, like, the Pokemon designs on a large scale up until, like, Gen 6. That's when I started being like, yo, a lot of these Pokemon are not memorable.
Yeah. Even Gen 7, Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio, those designs were, like, they had similarities, but they were different enough. You know? Like, Rowlet was, like, just one circle with circle eyes. Litten actually had, like, a cat body, although it had a round head. And Popplio had a seal body with a round head. Like, so they had some round similarities, but their bodies were different enough. And then you look at Sobble and the other two, I already forgot their names. I didn't forget them on purpose. Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. They almost are exactly the same. Sobble's kind of like... Sobble's like... His hands are on the ground, so his knees are bent, but it's like the same body.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thwacky, their evolutions, Thwacky, Raboot, and Drizzle are also practically the same. It's not until they get to their third stages that they're different, and their third stages are just like...
So Digimon!
Humanoid 1, Humanoid 2, and Humanoid 3.
Stick figure.
Yeah. Turn from Pop-Up Girl to stick figure. In Rillaboom's case, it's strong stick figure. It's thick figure. Powerpuff to thick figure. And people actually made comparisons to Pop-Up Girls because they're green, red, and blue, and they have the same shapes. And Scorbunny's ears look like Blossom's bow. I'm like, oh my god, it's Pop-Up Girls.
Oh my god. Somebody was probably having a day. They were just like, they were probably watching Cowboy.
I'm like, for Gen 9, can we go back to the original art director? And that's no dig against the art director for Gen 8. They're still good designs, but it's like, it's just, it felt like it was too much of a departure.
Yeah.
It felt like spin-off Pokemon game.
Yeah. I need a lot of changes.
Some of them were good, though. I really like a lot of these Pokemon. And again, no dig against the art director. It just felt like they gave the like Digimon art director the ability to design Gen 8 Pokemon. It's like, these are good designs, but maybe not good Pokemon designs for some. I don't know. I feel like I'm being mean. I'm trying not to be mean, and I don't against anything. No. I'm just like, my Gen 1, they all look different.
No, man. You can be critical. You can be critical about something without being mean about something. You know what I mean?
I can just imagine as if I was the art director and I heard someone complaining, and I'm like, I work really hard on this, and it's like, I feel bad, but at the same time, I guess I can offer some criticism. Like, if you want to make me feel better, give me a mythical pixie. Going back to that, because every gen has a mythical pixie, and they're one of my favorites. I always have like a team in my head. It's like, I have the mythical pixie team, and now I have an abundance to choose from. Like, where's my Gen 8 mythical pixie, man?
Yeah.
I guess Cubfu's not even a mythical or a pixie. I'm so disappointed.
Man. Where's the word I'm looking for? Like, where's the level design? You know what I mean? Like the mazes and stuff, or that used to be. Their excuse
is that they make it so that kids can play it. I'm like, okay, but like, I get that. I do, because a lot of kids are growing up on the shows now, and like, because they hear about Pokemon from their friends, and they're more likely to check out the show Saturday mornings than the game. And I get that, but please don't cut corners with with the story at least, or like certain things, like you could approach it like. The first batch of games was like the reason you couldn't go to the next town was because there was construction going on, or like you needed a certain move to cut down an obstacle. And like in Sword and Shield, it was like, oh, these guys are just saying, you know, you can't go here yet. It's like
I seen that, dude. I was just like, is this serious? I was like, are y'all serious?
You can't go there. I'll beat you in a Pokemon battle right now. It's like, you are the bad guy. It's like, why am I letting you not let me pass on this public road? Like,
right, sir, we can't let you pass.
Like, they made so many cut corner decisions. Like, we need a reason for them not to turn right on this bridge and go the other way around.
Right.
Let's just put some guy there who says you can't go there. Yeah, that's good enough.
Right, exactly. I can
Like,
literally
they
get the.
could have at least made a broken bridge. And like construction being like, oh, we're working on getting this bridge fixed up. You know, unfortunately, you could take the long way around or anything. You know,
Yeah, anything. Like I was playing some. I forgot which Pokemon game I was playing, but it was like it was something where it's something. I got it, and then I forget it.
And I liked Sword and Shield. I had fun playing it, but that doesn't mean I can't complain about certain things. You know.
Yeah.
I beat it twice. I played both DLC twice, and one of the DLCs I played a third time just so I could send a second Cubfu to my main file so that I can have both forms of Urshifu. So don't tell me I didn't play it. I freaking played that twice and thrice, or like twice and a half for one of the DLCs. It's just like I played it. It was okay and good, you know, back and forth, like good in some parts and okay in others. But it shouldn't just be good and okay. It should be like great and good.
Yeah.
And why are the villains not villains anymore?
None of the villains aren't villains, and then
They claim it's because the characters might be too scary for the kids. It's like, I'm scared of a rival like Blue. Like I wasn't scared. I played it. If anything, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kick this guy's ass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That you want to, you don't want to beat up on the.
Are you telling me Zelda can't be popular because, Zelda can't be successful because Ganondorf's too scary? Like, come on,
right.
Like that's a piss poor excuse.
I think a lot of it too, man, is pressure from the parents. Like they're still pressured from parents from the '90s. Still, like they got so much flack for stuff. Like they are overcompensating for stuff. So like you can't even.
I don't know, man. They made so much money then. Why would they change that now? It just seems like cutting corners.
It is, and like a lot of it is them being scared of like feedback from.
I get friendly rivalry, but why can't we have both friendly rivalry and rivalry?
Because kids are gonna see that, and then their parents are gonna see it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, my kid shouldn't be."
Yeah, but then it's okay when they play GTA, right?
I mean, yeah, you know, it's not.
Yell at the people online.
GTA is way more wholesome than Pokemon. What are you talking about?
Of course, nobody's mean in GTA.
No,
you know, playing
Pokemon
battle with a hooker, and you know, they give you a little reward when you win.
Exactly.
So stupid. I don't get some of these decisions. So don't tell me the rival is too mean when you have Bowser kidnapping Peach and trying to force her to marry him, but you can't have a kid telling me he's going to beat me in a Pokemon battle.
I don't want to beat up on a nice person, okay? It's not what I want, all right?
Maybe it's reverse psychology. They don't want you to win. It's so easy now that the only way to make you lose is to not want to win. I gotta say, though, there was that kid Bede or BB or whatever his name was. He was a bit of a dick. He used all like the psychic types. Or fairy or psychic or whatever.
The blonde hair one with the fro.
The white hair with the like pink clothes.
Yeah.
But like
he was cool.
He wasn't. He was like a rival, I guess. Okay, they kind of did. I forgot about him. But why did I forget about him? Why was he so unforgettable?
Because he wasn't your rival. He wasn't always in your face all the time.
I guess because they made your friend your rival.
Yeah, and you were like, I don't. Stop helping me. Leave me alone.
Like, I want to hate you. You won't
fight
let me
me.
hate
Damn,
you.
Fight me.
Yeah.
Hit me.
I get certain decisions, but it doesn't mean I have to like them.
Yeah.
Like, why is it so easy? Like, is it because I'm an adult now? I remember when the Elite Four was a struggle.
Yeah.
Now the Elite Four is like I could do it blindfolded, and I could just keep pressing A.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. And I thought maybe like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's because, you know, just because you know the game now. And I'm like, no, I'm like, if you slip up, they'll still smack you around in the old games, in the older ones.
It's like Super Mario World and now New Super Mario Bros. Like, I was able to beat New Super Mario Bros. I can't beat Mario Bros. But I mean, if I grew up on it, and meaning like I kept playing it, I probably would have eventually beat it like every other kid in the 90s.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just didn't have that ability to. It's like,
right.
I guess the attention span of kids is so short now that if they can't beat something, they'll stop playing it.
Yeah.
But there should be an easy and a hard mode then. Like, at least in Sun and Moon, you had the ability to turn off the experience share if you wanted to give yourself a challenge, which I was doing for a little while, and then I was just like, you know what? I just want to beat this because I was getting bored.
We'll see.
But you can't even do that in this one. You have to play easy mode.
Yeah. We'll see. The thing, like, because you're saying, like, well, maybe kids have a, you know, shorter attention span. I don't know, though, because, like, my nephew, he's been playing. He's big into Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice.
And I don't know how it happened. I had no influence over him at all. But like, he just into Sonic, like, huh?
It was me.
But he's been playing Sonic Unleashed and like has been getting through it. Like, you got through Eggman Land, and I'm like, dude, you're 7. Like, how? You know what I mean?
I don't get why these companies have such a disconnect with their audience. The 30-year-olds are the ones who are paying for the game, and they're the ones that want a challenge.
All right.
Although I guess these kids are also saying, "Mommy, Daddy, can you buy me Pokemon?" And they go, "Okay."
You know a solution? Just put difficulty settings.
Start over. That's the solution. Let's start over from Pokemon number 1 again. Or just keep remaking Gen 1.
Okay, please.
Where's my Gen 2? Let's go. Like, I mean, that's the closest I'll get to, like, good Pokemon again, right?
I almost don't even want one.
I mean, you know, we've gotten it remade so many times, but I will never get tired of it.
No.
Because it's actually good.
It is. Almost, because like with Let's Go Pikachu. I really wanted it to be like a Pokemon or like Red and Blue 2. And I kind of
you know, it sort of was, but it was an alternate reality where like Red, Blue, and Green finished their journey, but they didn't save the world. It's like it's basically the events of Red and Blue. Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, but Red, Blue, and Green had already completed their journey before the start of the events.
Yeah.
So it was... I kind of liked that twist. It's like, oh, here's a little bit of a twist now. You know? Like, this is my journey with these characters existing in this world. Like, this is an alternate way at how it could have happened. So I liked that. Instead of being Red, it's like, hey, I'm going to meet Red one day.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is like I kind of wanted them to go further with that, whereas like it's like you know it's the same areas and all this, kind of like it's familiar but it's all different. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're in the same place and all this stuff, but like they kind of play with your familiarity of everything. Where it's just like
added a bit more, since there's so much to the world of Pokemon now. They could have added a couple secret areas, at least like the Sevi Islands. From Fire and Leaf Green, or maybe at least like you can go to the starter town in Johto, but like maybe the routes are cut off or something, so like you can't really progress, but you can just visit the town, and that's where you would get like Cyndaquil, Totodile, or Chikorita. But I guess they didn't want to put them in the game because they wanted it to be strictly Gen 1, which I also get. In which case, just give us the Sevi Islands. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for that, but like, I don't know.
On the same hand, like I also was like, okay, we'll stick with the 100, like the original 151. but like add their like evolutions and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like go a little bit further. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm not
like
too
Let's Go
upset
Pikachu.
that they didn't do that because I feel like they were trying to recapture like 19 whatever the date was when the game came out. Like they wanted you to like relive that. I guess like Fire Red and Leaf Green was the version that was like Red and Blue Plus, and this was kind of like relive Red and Blue without the plus.
Yeah.
So like I get it. Like I can see both ways.
Mm-hmm.
They did add the Mega Stones, so I was like, okay, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, that was good. I did. Yeah, I wish they would have went further with that too.
yeah, and where's the Mega Stones in Sword and Shield?
They're gone.
They never existed.
They're
So
gone.
is this, now that we have a Pokemon multiverse, is Sword and Shield existing in the universe that never had Mega Stones, or is it in the Mega Stone universe but they just don't have them in that region? Because in Sun and Moon, I think there were those characters from X and Y who brought Mega Stones there, right? So, like, Sun and Moon didn't have Mega Stones, but, like, those characters brought them from a region, so they might have just not reached Galar yet.
I'm guessing that's what it is, like the latter, where it's like it exists, it's just not there. Kind of like
I like and I dislike this multiverse. I like it because it's so neat and intricate, but I dislike how complicated it is. Unless the Pokemon Company was like, this, here you go, this is the multiverse. This exists here, this exists here. It's like, oh, that's cool. But I don't think they even care at this point.
No, they're not really. They're a lot of that is the fans keeping up with that. They're not really keeping up with that like that. It's kind of like with Zelda, like they kind of are not. They're not really.
Yeah. Although they did give a timeline, and then it's like, all right, let's throw it off the window with Breath of the Wild.
Exactly. They're like, we don't. Really care.
You want a timeline? Let's mess with time in Age of Calamity. I don't even know if that's canon or not.
That's another game I played while I was in the hospital. I started playing it because I was like, I want to keep going, and I don't know if I like where the story is going.
Well, you know it has a bad ending, right? Unless they change it that much with time travel.
You said what now?
You know it's going to have a bad ending because of the way Breath of the Wild starts. Unless they alter it with time travel. Like, I don't know how it ends. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you haven't played Age of Calamity?
No, I have it, and I was like chipping away at the first Hyrule Warriors for like third or fourth time. Like I was trying to finish the adventure mode, and then I got sidetracked with other games. So I told myself before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, that's when I'll like sit down and be like, all right, I got to play this now. So like it's on my list of like try to get this done before Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay, I won't say anything then. I won't say anything.
But I know it takes place during the war, like 100 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So
that's all I'll say. I don't know if I like where they're taking that. I don't know if I like where they're taking it. But I'll keep going, and hopefully what happens is not. I'm gonna let it go. I don't want to spoil that for you. All
right. So well. I want to keep talking about Pokemon, but we're coming up on like a 2-hour mark, and I didn't even realize that we were past an hour already.
Oh man, we are. Dang.
And I got to listen to this again to edit it. Which is why like the last episode came out like 2 or 3 days later, because it went so long that I was like, I can't get through all this in one night. I remember I was up to like, I think like I was hitting like 3-4 a.m. and I was like, I gotta stop. This is not coming out tonight.
Well, at least you'll have enough. A lot of like when I get to that point, when that happens with me, I just start cutting stuff out. I'll be like, this is.
Well, I gotta listen to the stuff that I gotta cut out anyway. So at that point, I might as well just keep it in.
That's true.
But I do want to say that if we do get another Let's Go game, I would like that. I think we should have a Gen 2 Let's Go. Like, it seems like they're using kind of like the mascots for Pikachu and Eevee, and I think Gen 2's mascots were Pichu and Togepi, right? I mean, people were saying Pichu and Marill because they're both like Pikachu-esque, And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did. Pikachu and Eevee went for the mascots. And I don't know if Eevee was really that much of a mascot beforehand, but it kind of started to, like, shortly before that. Like, Eevee was popular because of the evolutions, and I think Japan, at least, really loves Eevee and its evolutions, which God knows why they don't make any evolutions anymore. It's like everybody wants them. But, so I feel like in that vein of mascot, Pichu and Togepi fit the bill.
I think you might be right. Either, because my thing is, like, I think because Togepi you get as an egg, so that makes sense. He was a highlight of that game. Meryl wasn't. Meryl was. We had, like, during the time, like when it was coming out, we hadn't seen Meryl before. We was like, what is Meryl? You know what I mean? Like,
we thought of it was Peekaboo. Peekaboo is what people called it. I remember.
Yeah.
The Legend of Peekaboo.
Yeah, he was like one of the first that we seen, so it was just like that's why he was special at that moment. But like now, there's nothing really special about Meryl.
Yeah, well, so I can imagine them like altering it, like making some tweaks, like they did with Pikachu and Eevee, where like you get an egg in the beginning of the game, and depending on which version, it either hatches into Pichu or Togepi. And just like how Pikachu and Eevee were strong enough, like, because there was a special Pikachu and a special Eevee that were like the like main ones in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, so they can make like a special strong Pichu and Togepi for the second one that can actually fight like final stage evolutions. You know, give them unique moves, buffed up stats, and I don't know, like they could do it.
Yeah.
So, like, Pichu wouldn't evolve into Pikachu, and Togepi wouldn't evolve into Togetic or Togetic. It's like they would just be abnormally strong baby Pokemon for the game.
You're right.
And they would learn unique moves, like how the Pikachus and Eevees learned, like, unique moves that were each of a different status element or something, you know? Like, they could do it, and I would enjoy that. And then you get to, I guess, I don't know if Gold, Silver, and Crystal, I don't know if those characters, or Lyra, whatever they want to call her, I don't know if those characters would have completed their journeys. But, like, it would be interesting to go through the events of Gold and Silver and Crystal in a similar vein that you did in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where, like, Gold, Silver, and Crystal / Lyra finished their journey, and you and I guess your hometown friend are, you know, going gym to gym and stopping the recreation of Team Rocket.
That'd be interesting.
You know, back when the game had villains.
Yeah, you're
the
right.
The series had villains
instead of the fashion police. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Gen 5 was like the last villain that was evil.
Yeah, that was
good. Evil.
Like, I mean, like, well, good. Like
meant the same thing and said the opposite words. I mean,
but like
that
was honestly the
like,
last. Yeah, that was the last story that was the last one that had an interesting story.
Yeah,
just, you know,
one that had an interesting story.
As far as the Let's Go game, I had this. I thought like maybe like they would probably just go back and you just use Lugia and Ho-Oh again because
starter,
huh?
Your starter. You start with Lugia.
No. I think that those would just be the cover. I think they'll be the cover because, well, I don't know.
I think the Let's Go, like, quote unquote series is like, here's our mascots and our journey through like as if we were in there.
Oh yeah, okay. You got a good point.
The main characters had already finished their journey. You know, it's like it's not necessarily retelling the events as it's like altering a retelling of the events. And that would be really cool because then maybe you would get to meet both Crystal and Lyra because like Pokemon Crystal introduced Crystal and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver swapped her out for a new character named Lyra, and it's like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee used both, or not all three, you know, red, blue, and green and we
Yeah, Green came out of nowhere.
So it's like, we had Leaf. So Let's Go didn't have Leaf. So I guess technically, Let's Go, Pichu and Togepi could use Crystal instead of Lyra in that sense. Unless they want to use Lyra instead of Crystal, I guess they wouldn't use both. But probably keeping in line with like the originals, they would probably use whatever I said. Crystal. I thought it was interesting that
Togepi and
Pichu.
Elekid.
Oh yeah, I always thought it was interesting that Green seemed very reminiscent of her character in the Pokémon Adventures manga. I think she even used similar Pokemon. Like, I think she used Jigglypuff. She used Blastoise, I believe.
Yeah, she had the same team.
A very small Pokemon Adventures manga, like inspiration there, and I would love to see that in a Let's Go Togepi and Pichu.
Maggie.
What?
What? Huh?
What? What?
Pokemon Smoochum and
Pokemon Baby 1 and Pokemon Baby 2. You can't go wrong with that because it's gonna be one of them. But yeah, it'd be neat because they can use like even if they just use a little bit of just a little bit of inspiration, like how the Pokemon Adventures manga seems like the inspiration from there seemed to just be Green, unless I'm missing anything else. But like they didn't use some of the other stuff from the manga, like Lieutenant Surge, Sabrina, and Koga being part of Team Rocket.
I really wanted them to do that because I really think that is so interesting.
So I guess I wouldn't expect Neo Team Rocket to do that. Like I wouldn't expect. I don't want to. I mean, I know it's been out forever, but like I'm not going to spoil like who the leader of Neo Team Rocket was. But that was a pretty big twist too. And I wouldn't expect Let's Go Baby 1 and Baby 2 to like really, I'll just say Let's Go Johto. I wouldn't expect Let's Go Johto to depart so much from the original story, but only take a little bit of inspiration. And I think that inspiration would probably be Crystal, like they did with Green, or maybe like one or two characters or something, you know.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could take inspiration from like each character in Pokemon Adventures had like something they were good at, and I think Gold was the breeder, like he was good at breeding Pokemon. So like I can see those characters kind of not outright declaring that that's what they are or officially being that, but maybe have a hint of that. Like maybe you see Gold and he has like some baby Pokemon. And you're like, oh, I get it, because you know he in the Adventures manga he was the breeder. Maybe he'll have like an Apom or something to like represent like what he had in that. But then again, Red didn't have a Poliwhirl in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, so whatever.
Yeah, it's alright.
But yeah, I'm expecting, and I think a Gen 3 one could be like a Let's Go Plusle or Let's Go Minun, only because I would love to see more double battles involved, and like whoever you pick, your friendly rival would have the other, you know.
Yeah.
They can introduce some unique tag team tactics. So it's like if you have Plusle and Minun is out, like you'll have like a tag team Thunderbolt or something that does like 100 damage, or you know, like they can make some kind of unique stuff with that. Although Plusle and Minun weren't the mascots, but I think they're unique enough as a pair. So I don't know. Did Gen 3 have any mascots?
Not off the top of my head.
Gen 4 had Lucario, but he was he didn't really come in a pair, did he?
No. That's
where it gets fuzzy, but I think Gen 2 it can like get away with using Pichu and Togepi.
For sure Togepi, 100%.
Pichu was kind of a mascot because they were pushing him as like the Pikachu baby, and Pikachu was is the franchise mascot. So I feel like Pichu and Togepi were being pushed as mascots back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, Pichu got into Melee. Togepi was in the
That's
anime.
true.
You know,
That's
and
true.
like both of them were on the covers of the players' guides and probably
Yeah.
on the back of the boxes. I think like they were like, hey, look, we got a new Pikachu, and hey, look, you remember this thing from the anime? Because like Togepi was kind of the face of like the new breeding mechanic, and Pichu was the face of like new Pikachu. So they were kind of like big deals in terms of mascots.
Not only that, yeah, Misty just would carry Togepi around, and everybody was like, what is this thing? We don't know what this is. It's not on the Pokédex. What is it?
Yeah.
So
Where's my national dex?
but
But Gen 3,
yeah.
I don't think it had any mascots, so maybe I'm just dumb. Because at that time I fell out of Pokemon, and when I got back in again, I think Emerald was out for a little while. So like I got back in by playing Emerald. So I don't know. They might have had mascots before that.
I got out at the exact same time, but then I didn't come back until Pokemon Platinum.
See, I never played Platinum, so I'm hoping that Diamond and Pearl remakes introduce the extra scenarios from Platinum, but Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire didn't introduce the extra scenarios from Emerald. So like the best part of Emerald was that you got both Kyogre and Groudon in the end, and Rayquaza came down, and it's like, why did Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire not do that?
They want to be different, man. You know,
I want you to get both games.
Yeah, well, that too.
There's Delta Emerald. Oh, it was an extra scenario. Oh, that was cool though. I did like Zinnia. She was cool.
Yeah, I did like.
She was Pokemon Faye for me for a little while. She was my Pokemon wife for a little while. She was cool though. I didn't understand the Whismur. Was that her baby? But then it was just like a Whismur that she named after her dead ? Baby.
I don't even know what was. I don't know what's happening now. I'm interested in what you're talking about. I'm like, what is he talking about?
She had a Whismur that followed her around, and I forgot the name of the Whismur, but it was, if not outright told, it was heavily implied that it shared the same name as, I guess, her deceased daughter or some relative. And so it sounds like she lost her daughter and named her Whismur after her daughter, I guess. I think it's something like that.
It's kind of weird. A little bit weird. Pokemon has some weird tendencies.
I'm going to look this up now. Zinnia. If I could scroll up to the search bar. Zinnia. Relatives. Unnamed grandmother. She also travels with a female Whismur nicknamed Aster.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember there was something interesting about that Aster, right? Aster seems to have been named after someone close to Zinnia who has passed away. According to an interview with Shigeru Omori in the June 2015 issue of Nintendo Dream, Aster was a person with special powers who held the position of lore keeper before Zinnia. Okay, so it wasn't her daughter, as far as we know, unless her daughter held the position before her. But
Pokemon always weirdly, as much as they try to shield kids from stuff or try to keep stuff baby, they always have.
Aster is actually in the Pokémon Adventures. I didn't get up to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire chapter, so interesting.
I forgot all about them.
Are you all caught up in Pokémon Adventures? Because I'm far behind in it.
I ain't watched no Pokemon, nothing.
Read. Uncultured swine. It's in the manga.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I stick strictly to the games, and then as far as Pokemon, I stuck strictly to the games.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to watch the show and some of the movies, but
I always thought the manga was interesting, and then I was reading it, and I'm like, yo, this is real awesome.
I feel like I always caught glimpses of it. I feel like it's way more better than as far as story.
I remember reading in the back of one of the volumes, it was a quote by one of the Pokemon creators who was like, this is what I envisioned Pokemon would be like if it was, real or something like that. I'm like, that's good enough for me to check this out. But I already read the first volume, so I agree with you. But yeah, it's like it's an adaptation where if things were like even more like twists and turns in the story, like how I mentioned before, something crazy with Neo Team Rocket,
Yeah.
And there was no Neo Team Rocket in the games. It was just Team Rocket trying to come back. And then they like expanded on that. And some gym leaders were part of Team Rocket. It's just like they take what's there and they build off of it, which is really interesting.
Yeah, see, I feel like I would want to read that. It's kind of the same thing I did with Yu-Gi-Oh, where I was just like, I started like buying books. Yu-Gi-Oh! I started looking up a bunch of the books. Like I started buying a bunch of the manga and started reading it. I was like, this is way different.
It's different than the anime,
dude. Way different.
Well, way different. The manga. So the later series, like GX and stuff, they just take an alternate route. Like it's like completely different. Like
that's what I heard too. I heard the manga was like way better than the anime.
I read the first 1 or 2 volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I was like, this is not what I remember from the show, but it's awesome. Like everybody had a different deck. I think they had a goal of like they didn't want to repeat the same story. So they didn't want it to just be like retelling the story. So they kind of took the basics of like Jaden has elemental heroes, and they're like, so instead of the ones they made new elemental heroes, and then that's kind of like where those new ones came from at the time. And it's like, and then instead of the cyber 2/2 characters or monsters that Alexis had, she had like ice barriers, I think. So it's like a lot of monster types came from, I think they were first introduced in the manga, which was pretty neat. So it's like one of these days I'll read all the manga.
Dude, it's like
we couldn't finish without talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We're
it comes full circle.
Have you read any of the old manga?
What?
Have you read any of the manga of Yu-Gi-Oh as far as like the
so when I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know if I had started watching the manga or started watching the anime I think at that point I was watching the anime, but like I had gotten into Shonen Jump when it first came out, like the very first issue of Shonen Jump, and they had the first issue of Yu-Gi-Oh in there, and it was completely different because it was before the card game. And so I was following the original series in the manga while watching the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist anime adaptation on Saturday mornings. So, like, I got the full manga prequel, in quotes, because it's not really a prequel, but I guess if you follow the anime, it's a prequel. It's what the quote-unquote Season 0 followed, although Season 0 isn't actually Season 0, it's just like a different studio. It was the first attempt at animating the manga, and then I guess they finished it before the card game, and then eventually whoever made the Yu-Gi-Oh! We all know and love just started from Duelist, because I guess at that point the cards were becoming popular, so they're like, we don't need to go back.
So they were trying to market that.
Yeah. And the original quote-unquote Season 0 doesn't follow the original manga to a T, but it follows similarly, So there's differences enough to, like, if you read the manga and then you watch Season 0, you'll be like, I don't remember this, but like they're both similar. I guess it's kind of like watching Dragon Ball Super and then reading Dragon Ball Super, because they're both based on Toriyama's notes, and then like the anime studio ran with that, and then Toyotaro ran with those notes for the manga. Although I don't know if Toriyama has more input into the manga in terms of script, but I know he oversees it.
Is it as intense as the manga?
Which?
Like, as far as like Season 0.
So I didn't watch all of Season 0, but I've seen a few episodes, and the manga is a little more intense in that it's like in the anime, I think like in the first episode, that bully character, I think he's like, doesn't he, when he falls from the building and then I think he's caught in some kind of illusion, right? Of like some kind of illusion. Where in the manga, I think he falls into the mouth of a monster and I think it actually eats him. I think he actually dies. Whoa. So they're like similar stories, but like I feel like they changed it to lessen the intensity in the anime.
Yeah, probably sounds about right.
The manga is like there are certain things from the manga I remember that I tried to find in the anime and I couldn't find it. Like I think there was a character like in the anime, some girl who something happened to her, like she thought she was too beautiful or something happened to her, where in the manga I remember a teacher, like I don't know if this was an adaptation of the same story or something completely different, but I remember a teacher who was like really cruel and she thought so highly of her appearance and she kind of shadow game or whatever they called it to Yugi, where I think her face cracked and revealed like a disgusting face or like an evil face, like a very twisted face, and there was some kind of rule or put in place as like punishment where like no matter what she did to her face, whether it was makeup or no matter how much makeup she put on, whatever she did, her face would always look like that. And so she I guess she broke down because she thought so highly of her appearance, and forever from that point on, for losing the shadow game, she was just like hideous from that point on. There's nothing she could do, and I was like, damn.
Yeah. Or like the one where the guy had the money on their hand, and they had to take a knife and stab as they stab the money, and how however much they can stab through without stabbing their hand, they can keep that money or whatnot. And the guy kept on going, and then it got to the point where he was getting ready to lose to Yugi, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna just stab you. And then Yugi was like, nah, we're gonna send your mind to the we're gonna send your mind in Shadow Realm. And
well, that's what's so great about it is the games they play, he knows how they're gonna react. He knows they're not gonna want to play by the rules, and so that's how he gets them.
Exactly. So then the guy ends up he just outsmarts the world and crazy or whatnot, and then everybody's coming to school the next day and they're watching him on the ground throwing leaves up in the air. He's crazy. He went crazy.
Yeah, I think my favorite is in one of the early chapters and episodes, and I think they were very similar in both the manga and anime, where there's an escaped convict and he holds this restaurant hostage. Do you remember that? And he has Yugi at gun. Yugi sits down in the booth in front of him, because he has Taya hostage, and Yugi sits in the booth in front of him, and before he could shoot him, he challenges him to a game, and he accepts because I forget what the stipulation or whatever the word is, but there was something enticing about it. I don't remember what it was, but basically it's you can win or kill me with just moving one finger, and the guy's like, I got a gun, I just gotta move my trigger finger, and and Yugi pulls out a lighter, and he's I'm just gonna move my finger or something like that, and the guy's pouring alcohol. Yeah, he's pouring alcohol, and so Yugi just lights the lighter with his thumb and places it on his hand while he's pouring the alcohol, and Yugi's he's like, all right, that's it, because if he pulled the trigger, the lighter would fall and light him on fire. Because at that point he couldn't move his hand, so he couldn't stop alcohol, so it was pouring all over his body. And so Yugi's all right, so he gets up and he takes Taya, and the guy gets so pissed that I don't know if he throws the lighter or what he does, and he gets up and shoots it, but because he went against the rules of only moving one finger or something like that, so he's like, you lose, and he's just burned in flames. Now I don't remember if the anime made it that they were illusionary flames or what the anime did, but in the manga it was real fire.
Right, but
he lit himself on fire.
What's funny was
I think he actually
followed
pulled the
up
trigger
on it. They
never and lit himself on fire.
They never followed up on it. The next slide, or there was no ambulance, there was nothing. He just caught fire and that was it. They never discussed it after that.
Oh yeah, in the anime it was fake fire. It was like illusionary fire because I remember him running around the restaurant. He's like, I'm on fire, and the people are like looking at him like, what are you talking about? And I remember in the manga, I'm pretty sure he specifically lit on fire, and like that was like big. Like there was no running around like I'm on fire, and people like what are you talking about? Like he burst into flames, and I think that's how it ended.
Yeah, he just caught fire, and then that was the end. Oh, Taylor, you okay? Oh yeah, and then that was the end of it. It was just like, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah. We're not going to discuss the guy that's on fire.
It's strange how like season 0 and then like the anime are not related, but the manga for Yu-Gi-Oh and then the manga for Yu-Gi-Oh Duelist are related. It's like this hidden secret prequel to the anime that is not animated, but the closest you can get is season 0. Which is not actually season 0, but just a different attempt by a different company.
Yeah, they were at the time. You could tell they were trying to like market it towards kids and all that stuff. So they cut all that stuff out or whatnot.
Yeah, they made some changes too. Like in the manga, Pegasus died. In the anime, he just lost his eye, and then they reused him for more stuff.
Yeah, the same thing with Duke Devlin. Like he died too. I didn't realize. I was like, Duke Devlin died. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, I didn't read. So in the manga, I don't know how much I read of the manga. I think at one point Shonen Jump might have skipped ahead or something, but I don't really remember reading all of like Duelist, but I remember reading the beginning of Millennium World, they called it, which was when, the whole, basically the anime after the Battle City tournament, they had a couple of filler arcs, and then like when he went back to the ancient Egypt thing, that's where like the Millennium World was, which was also different a little bit. I specifically remember Shoddy was like the guide in the manga, or no, sorry, I think Shoddy was the guide in the anime. In the manga, there was like this really heavy set guy who had a vest that was like buckled or locked closed. And I think he ate the key. The key was in his stomach, so he could spit out the key to open his vest. And when he opens his vest, he has like pieces of his body missing for the Millennium items to fit inside. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say missing, but they were like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not concave, maybe. It's like it goes inward, so he almost like pieces of, because he was a big like fat guy, so pieces of his fat were probably removed so that Millennium items could fit in there. So he had like craters in his big fat gut that were in the shape of Millennium items, and he was like holding them all. He was basically a walking Millennium item treasure chest.
Holder.
And I don't think he was in the anime at all. They were just like, we'll read Shoddy.
I don't know who you're talking about at all.
Like, let's just read Shoddy. People know Shoddy.
Yeah.
But I didn't finish Millennium World. I didn't finish the Millennium World manga, and I didn't finish the anime adaptation, so I still don't know how Yu-Gi-Oh ends. I just know that, like, Yugi eventually duels Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Yami, or the Pharaoh, who eventually gets his name, and then he goes back to the past Samurai Jack.
Right.
This way he could eventually be reborn into Yugi, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. But
yeah, if Yami died, would that mean Yugi wouldn't exist?
Wait, or say it again?
If Yami died, would that, or like if something happened to his soul in Yugi's body, would that mean Yugi would not exist? Because I think the Pharaoh Yugi was a reincarnation of the Pharaoh, right? So it was like his past life was actually, because I think there was time travel or some crap. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I think that
they just looked
I think they just share spirits. I don't think it's a reincarnation. I think it was just like
everybody except Yugi was reincarnated from somebody.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah.
Like Seto was reincarnation of the priest Seto, I think. And it's just like Yugi. Maybe I'm just assuming Yugi was a reincarnation of the Pharaoh. So like I think at the end of the series he goes to like this heavenly realm, which I assumed he was going back to the past to eventually be reincarnated to Yugi, but I guess he wasn't. Maybe they were just like twinsies. They like look the same, but they're not. They actually have no relation.
Yeah, I don't know because they never really said that he was reincarnated. If that he was a reincarnation, they always were two different beings sharing the same body.
Yeah. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh is good. I'm so far behind on that. I was watching the latest series, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, and I'm like, what is this speed duel or whatever it's called?
Yep. Here we go.
It's neat, but like, I have. So they're finally. So I wish they had a game where they would just update it like every ban list or something, and like add the new cards all the time. But the newest game is still like a couple years old, and they updated it at one point, and it's already behind. And there's a new game coming out, but it's going to follow Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, so it's going to have the new type of dueling, which I don't mind if they also include the ability to duel like real dueling. But if they don't, then I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, like I don't.
It's like, don't reboot Yu-Gi-Oh! Just, let me play Yu-Gi-Oh! And also try out this new type of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like it's. I don't know what you want to talk about corporations and stuff and whatnot. You want to complain about Nintendo and them and all them. Konami is the one is like, what are y'all doing, dude? Like,
Did you notice on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, up until recently, they all said copyright, I think 1997, Kazuki Takahashi, which is the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
And now they say copyright 2000 whatever, like Shueisha TV Tokyo or something like that, and you're like, did he sell it? Did the creator finally sell Yu-Gi-Oh! to the anime company, or did he stop working on anything new and like they're working on it now? Or
I would assume
were they licensing it from him and now they're like co-owning it, or like I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I just saw the copyright change and I don't know what the story behind that.
Yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, I'm about to look at one of my cards to see what you're talking about.
Did you not know that?
No, because I'm
pulling my deck out right now because it's right next.
Yeah, let me hold on. Give me a second.
So right in front of me, I have Jester Confit, copyright 1996, Kazuki Takahashi, and right next to it, Ice Dragon's Prison. I need to see in the light. I can't read this. The purple on the card is too dark. Let me find another one.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, I told you, man.
What is
Here,
that? What?
Magicalized Fusion says copyright 2020, Studio Dice / Shueisha TV Tokyo Konami. So I'm wondering if they bought it.
Yeah. What?
If they bought it from him, does that mean we'll finally get Magi Magician Girl?
Maybe.
The card and the story behind it?
Yeah, so
it was like old Dark Magician Girl artwork that so when Konami was bringing cards over to the US, they were censoring art.
They were censoring them, yeah, and like
Takahashi, I think he got annoyed when they specifically censored his art. And so he's like if you're gonna censor my art, then or like I don't want you censoring my art, or like don't release the card there if you're gonna censor it. So like they just didn't release it. So Magi Magician Girl is basically an Ixi's version of Dark Magician Girl that uses artwork of Dark Magician Girl by Kazuki Takahashi, and I guess they used it for an Ixi's monster in Japan, so in the OCG, and we never got it because they would have to censor the art. Yet they did release lost art of a lot of cards recently, including Dark Magician Girl. So I'm wondering if they will eventually release Magic Magician Girl. It's like a promotional card.
I really don't understand why they keep censoring like cards anymore, because like honest to God, like Yu-Gi-Oh is not catered to, it's not for kids anymore. Like you don't never like anytime I go up to
I think that like Pokemon would prove you wrong.
No, Pokemon I would absolutely for sure. But
I don't know, the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, all the characters are like half the age of all the other main characters from the series. They're like in like elementary school, like still sipping on babas and nipples.
here's the thing though, like I don't see kids or hear kids talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. I hear kids talk about Pokemon all the time or whatnot. So I'm like, I get that. I understand that 100%. When I go to tournament scenes and stuff or whatnot, and I see people playing Pokemon, I see children playing Pokemon and all this stuff. I see people playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's always teens and up. I never see children. And so like whenever even like when you do see a child, it's the weirdest thing. It's like it's so jarring because you're just like, oh, there's a kid here. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, that's the honestly to God, that's the audience now. There is no kid audience. Like I don't see a kid audience anymore. So I'm like, why are we still censoring stuff? Like this is, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't understood that for like a long time.
See, I have a Dark Magician deck, so I hope we get Magic Magician Girl. But I also feel like she would never see the light of day or the light of play because I never have 6-star spellcasters out. Like I have 3 of them in my deck. I have a Dark Magician Girl and I have 2 Apprentice Illusion Magicians, but they're never both on the field at the same time.
It's not going to happen because
so,
I had Norito, the moral leader, in there, and I was like, okay, I'll use him so I can like, you know, make sure my opponent doesn't use any back row. Yep. And I never got him out ever. And
so I was just recently playing with my latest deck recipe, or my second latest deck recipe. I finally played with my friend, and he uses a somewhat pretty meta Eldritch deck, and like a Cyber Dragon OTK deck that's one turn kill for anybody who knows, or doesn't know rather. And so we were pretty evenly matched with the Eldritch until I think the third duel. I just got a really bad hand. I think I had like Dark Magician and Red Ice Black Dragon in my hand. I was like, I just bricked. Or my hand definitely had Red Ice Black Dragon in it. And I was like, you don't want to see that in this deck.
You certainly don't want to see that.
And so I lost that one fairly quickly. And then in the second duel, the second match, which was with the Cyber Dragon deck, I surprised myself by winning. So I'm like, the Dark Magician is decently competitive, and so I have that recipe had 3 Ash Blossom Joy Springs in there, and I also had the Dark Magician Dragonite in extra deck, and I'm like, Dark Magician Dragonite, he never sees the light of day because I always go for Dragoon first, and I never really tap into the second Dragoon. So the latest recipe, I side decked the Ash Blossoms and the Dark Magician Dragonite. And I'm waiting for them in the mail. I'm going to put in 3 Droll and Lockbirds because I want to, because a lot of decks search multiple times in the same turn now. Yeah. So I can swap them out for Ash Blossom depending on the deck I'm dueling. But against that Cyber Dragon deck in particular that searches multiple times a turn, I need the Droll and Lockbirds just to be like, hey, you're not searching anymore. But also they're 1-star spellcasters. So now that gives me 3 1-stars in my deck. 9 1-stars in my deck. So 3 Magician's Souls, 3 Jester Comfits, and 3 Droll and Lockbirds. So I replaced the Dark Magician Dragonite with a Slacker Magician, so I can hopefully get out AA Zeus if I need to, because I have him in my side deck, and he has not seen any play. But I feel like Slacker Magician would make him playable.
Man. Oh yeah, for sure.
God, all these Yu-Gi-Oh terms. Anybody listening is probably like, I don't know what.
What the hell are these guys talking about? They're completely foreign.
Yeah.
AA. I got so mad, dude. I sold my AA to somebody.
Oh no.
I did. I sold it to someone.
Did you get good money for it?
They offered me the $100, so I was like, okay.
That's about what. That's actually like a little more than it's worth, I think. So that you did good for that, but that just means you can't.
Well, that's true, but the thing, I guess
it wasn't a Starlight rare, right?
Yeah. No, God, no.
Never saw that.
I think I ended up replacing them with Quintet Magician.
I put Quintet in my deck, in my side deck, and I'm hoping replacing the Ash Blossoms with the Droll and Locks will get Quintet out faster because he's not getting out at all right now. But
Droll and Lock is Droll and Lock a spellcaster?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh.
And now I'm like, yo, this is perfect combo.
Yeah,
it's like you want to get Quintet out, just replace Ash Blossom with...
That works!
I know, I didn't know that. I didn't even really know about Joel and Lockbird until my buddy told me. He's like, oh, you know, Joel and Lockbird would prevent you from searching multiple times. Like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna have to get that for this deck. And then I looked at it, I was like, it's a spellcaster.
Yeah, I didn't even. I
that's
literally
3 more spellcasters I can just dump to the grave. Quintet's gonna get out faster than he was because he was getting out 0. Now he could get out maybe 1% of the time. It all depends on if you pull out that Magical Ice Fusion, which technically I had 2 Predaplant Verdianacanas. So if I used one and Dragoon goes bye, then the second Predaplant I can go for the Magical Ice Fusion because it is a fusion card. So basically, Predaplant Verdianacana will get out Dragoon or Quintet Magician.
Yeah.
I'm like Yoda's genius. Technically, you can also go for the actually, can you target Secrets of Dark Magic with
Nope.
Or does it have to say fusion in the title?
Yep.
Okay,
I knew exactly what you were going to say. I did the exact same. I was like, it doesn't work.
But you can search for Secrets of Dark Magic with Soul Servant.
Exactly. So
I didn't realize until like the other day. I'm like,
oh, you didn't realize that? You didn't know that?
No. I didn't realize
that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, it works because it's just like you can Soul Servant can just search the whole one side of your deck.
Yeah. Oh man. So I don't know if I told you, but before the Dark Magician deck, I had a Toon deck, and I'm very disappointed with how not meta it is. It is fun, but it
is very fun.
It's not fun. It doesn't work though.
It can work. You can make it work.
It needs support, and I made. I remember showing you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you showed me.
I just made actually just today. I modified them slightly to make them a little more fair, and I added a new card today. And it's funny that I did this today because I hadn't touched this in like maybe a month or so. But I was just like, you know what? I want to make this card. So I made an Ixies monster called the Moon over Toon World, and I used a piece of that image from that artist Kraus illustrations. Like he made like a Toon World card, and so I took like a piece of I took a part of it that showed the moon, like the smiling moon over Toon World. I made it a light rock Ixies effect, rank 8, 2 level 8 Toon monsters. It is once per turn if a Toon monster attacked directly while Toon World was on your side of the field. You can also Ixie summon the moon over Toon World by using one Toon monster you control as material. So he kind of has that AA Zeus thing going for him, which some other monsters have too. If this card would be removed from your side of the field by your opponent's card effect, which some people were telling me, oh, that doesn't exist. I'm like, well, you know what? It does now. If this card would be removed from your side of the field by your opponent's card effect, which I did that because I was getting tired of, like, Bookmark is meant to protect Toon Kingdom from being destroyed. Okay, but then my friend just kept using Cosmic Cyclone. I'm like, what's the point of Bookmark if you're just going to banish my Toon Kingdom?
Yeah, because when they made it, they weren't, it needs some more support anyway.
Yeah, either retcon the card or errata or whatever the word is to include remove from the field or include banish instead of destroyed.
Oh no,
or just give more support.
So
if this card would be removed from your side of the field by your opponent's card effect, quick effect, you could detach one material from this card, so it would, at this point it has 2 materials, or one if it's summoned by its effect. Negate that effect. Once per turn, if a card with Toon World in its text, except for the Moon over Toon World, would be affected by a card effect, you can negate that card effect. You do not need to banish any cards from your deck to activate the effects of a card with Toon World in its text. Thank God, because Toon Kingdom, you're constantly banishing crap. All Toon monsters you control can attack the turn they are summoned. Thank God. It needs that. So I can actually use some old tunes, like Toon Mermaid, if I need to. Once per turn, quick effect, you can add one card with Toon World in its text, except for the Moon over Toon World, from your deck, field, or graveyard to your hand. It needs that. And this is not a Toon monster, so it's not protected by Toon Kingdom. It's just like a supporter. I feel like something like that is needed. Attack 2,000, defense 3,000. It's really just meant to sit there on your field and not do anything except support. I have like a bunch of these Toon support cards that I wish were real.
You really want to make it work.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, I wanted to like make custom proxy cards and use them in my deck. I'm like, this is gonna be so much fun, but then nobody's gonna want to duel me.
Yeah, that's the part right there. Or they're gonna be like, they're gonna not really be into it. They'll be like, oh, this is a bunch of.
And
yeah, I feel like the Toon cards. I feel like they're teetering on being overpowered, and I feel like that's why they won't support them.
Oh yeah, but it's okay to do it with like Prank Kids and Shadow.
Yeah, of course, if they can sell new cards,
I really love this other card I made called Return to Toon World. It's basically your return from the different dimension for Toons. It's because all that banishing that happens in that deck, banishing face down and crap. So listen to this effect. I mean, I'm not going to read every card I made. I'll just leave off with this one. I mean, I could read them all, but I don't think anybody wants to listen.
I don't think it's about.
I'm just proud of this.
Not that it's not good. It's just that for a video, maybe
there might be some people who like Yu-Gi-Oh, but probably not.
Maybe
Target any number of your banished cards that specifically list the card Toon World in their text, and pay 100 life points times the number of targeted cards. Reveal those targeted cards to your opponent, and shuffle them back into the deck. Then draw a number of cards equal to the number of empty monster card zones in your side of the field, not including monster card zones and pendulum zones, but not more than the number of cards shuffled into the deck from this card's effect. So, you're at most going to draw 5 cards.
Yeah,
Reveal the cards you drew to your opponent, and if you control Toon World, special summon any Toon monsters that you drew with this card's effect, ignoring their summoning conditions. These special summon monsters cannot attack this turn. Then shuffle the rest of the cards you drew from this card's effect back into your deck. You can only activate one return Toon World per turn. So it balances itself out because you can't attack again. The rest of the cards go back in the deck, so other decks can't abuse this card because they have to be Toon monsters. It's like simply Toon support.
It sounds kind of like a pot of
duality.
Not duality, not extravagance. Pot of prosperity. Yeah, it sounds like a pot of prosperity for Toons. Like where you're digging into the deck.
Return from a different dimension with like a pot card.
Yeah.
So basically you're like, what did I say? So you can basically pick all the Toons that are moved from play, even if you have 20 Toon monsters. I don't know how you got 20 Toon monsters in your banished pile.
I don't know what
you're
doing.
20, you're paying 2,000 life points, right? And you're shuffling them all back into your deck. But you can't draw 20 cards. You can draw a max of 5. It depends on how many. So if you have no monsters on your field, you can draw 5 times. If you have 3 monsters on your field, you can only draw 2 cards. And then whatever Toon monsters you draw gets special summoned, and the rest goes back in your deck. So it's basically meant to shuffle back in all the banished Toon cards and maybe special summon something.
So that's more like a more like
Cybertruck.
More like a pot of not avarice, the other one. Jar of Greed. One of the ones where it basically does that, where it's like shuffle cards back into your deck and then draw cards. But you're summoning the monsters that you see. It's like a combination of all those. But it sounds good. I like it.
Yeah, and then I'm not going to read the other card effects because it's too much. But I also made this something similar to the way Valkyrian the Magnet Warrior works, if it's him, where there's only I think 2 cards in the whole game that can special summon from the deck from their own effect in the deck. I think Dark Magician Sage or something, or I don't know. But basically, there's a card I made called Toon Fusion, where if you have a Toon World, you can fusion summon from your fusion deck and replace a material with a Toon monster of your choice. But there are fusion Toons in the deck, so I was going along the lines of how Konami just loves to make Toons only affect monsters. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play by their rules. So I made a a Black Skull Dragon. I made Toon Skull Dragon, and I made the Red Ice Dark Dragoon, Toon Red Ice Dark Dragoon, and I made the Dark Magicians. I made the Toon Dark Magicians. So basically, there's two ways to get them out. You can do the typical Toon method where you tribute cards on the field or your hand, kind of like Toon Blackluster Soldier, where it kind of acts almost like a ritual monster. It's like, oh, you got to discard the number of levels or whatever. But in this case, it's the specific fusion material monsters they would be. Like in the case of Toon Red Ice Dark Dragoon, it's, you tribute from your hand or side of the field Toon Dark Magician and Red Ice Toon Dragon. But the alternate method is if you play Toon Fusion, you can change the effect of Toon Fusion to instead read that you can special summon this card from your hand or deck by using Red Ice Toon Dragoon by using Red Ice Toon Dragon and Dark Magician. So it basically acts as a polymerization, or it basically acts as a Toon version of Red Ice Fusion for said effect Toon monster.
Okay.
And then their effects are similar to their normal counterparts, except a toonified version where it only really works if Toon World's on the field. So it's they're not broken. I mean, they're hard enough to kind of get out. You wouldn't be using them in not a Toon deck.
Yeah. So basically, right. So basically, kind of like what Comic Can does, where it'll snatch a monster and then it'll still have the same effect. You can still use its effects, but it's also a Toon monster.
Which is also why I instead of saying Toon card, a lot of these are search for a card with Toon World in its name, because a card like Comic Hand won't be targeted otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's so if we're gonna play by that, I ain't going for any Toon cards. Just a card with Toon World in its text.
I really hate that. I really hate that whole term, because I remember the Eye of Timaeus, you couldn't search that card at all.
But yeah, it's a very finicky rule where it's was it Soul Servant or card, it's you can search for a card with Dark Magician in its name, and then it's the Eye of Timaeus, not its name as card text, and the Eye of Timaeus is it mentions Dark Magician, but it's not referring to the monster. It's referring to the class or something like that, and it's some BS thing where it otherwise would be a great card in the deck.
I would be fantastic.
It'd be using the Eye of Timaeus. And
that is literally the only reason why people don't run it.
Yeah, because you can't target it with anything.
With anything, no way you have to hard draw it.
It's not even like Secrets of Dark Magic where you can pick it because it says Dark Magician.
Exactly. So it's just that's why whenever I see decks that have it in there, bro, I'll be I don't know what y'all thinking.
I'm pretty proud of Toon Skull Dragon because I made up the effect, and the effect is based on another Black Skull Dragon like fusion. It's like a Black Skull Archfiend Dragon or something with Red Eyes and Toon. So I don't know, something very similar where it can target a monster and destroy it, and it's deal that damage to your opponent. So it's it does that. It's you can if you control Toon World, you can shuffle into your deck one card with Toon World in its name, and deal half that damage to your opponent. And then I think you can what did I write here? Then you can add one card that specifically lists the card Toon World and its text from your hand to your deck, from your deck to your hand. So it's he acts as a recycling engine.
Brave, that's crazy.
He'll burn the opponent by basically tributing a Toon. Not I don't think specifically using the word tribute, because you know how finicky the card texts get. But basically, you dump a Toon from your field, you bomb it, kamikaze in your opponent, and then you shuffle it into the deck, because you're not sending it to the graveyard, you're shuffling it back into the deck, and then you can search your deck for a Toon card and then put it on the field. So you can bomb your Toon Mermaid and then special summon Toon Blackluster Soldier, or even another Toon Skull Dragon because it's a Toon effect in your deck. So it's you can use his effect to get out another fusion Toon. So it's the way these cards work is they're support and they act fast. They recycle each other. You're taking back your banished Toons. You're protecting Toon World. And I think all the cards and their effects are very I'm trying to not make them overpowered. I actually went back and edited them multiple times. Like, originally, the Toon Fusion didn't mention if you control Toon World. So, like, someone said to me, well, what's stopping me from using this in a Shadow deck? And, like, you know, every deck's going to use this, and I could special summon fusion monsters from my extra deck just by playing this and putting a random Toon in my deck, just like how Red Eye sits in the deck.
Be careful.
I'm like,
just like Red
you're
Eye.
right. So I went back and added the if you control Toon World. So nobody's going to play this card unless
you're playing Toons.
Yeah. So it's like I went back and edited these cards a few times to make sure they're not too overpowered. And they might, a couple might still be, but I'm just like really excited with how they came out. And I'm like, I had the idea to do it because I was using the website Dueling Book to like test out some cards and decks, and Dueling Book has the option to play with custom cards, and I haven't actually done that, but I was like, oh, I could make custom cards and make a deck with custom tunes. And that's when I sat down and started making these effects, because I was really disheartened by all the money I spent on the tune deck and how it was not winning any duels.
Well, listen, you can still make them playable. You know what I mean? Like I got a deck build if you want to. Like, check it out sometime.
I gotta see it. We'll have to that because I love tunes. I didn't look at it yet, but I have like a tab open on my computer for like a tune and Dogmatica deck or something. I gotta check this out because anything's better than just pure tunes.
Yeah.
Very
like
tempted.
It's still just a fun deck, but like it's
I'm very tempted to just remake the deck, like print out proxies of these cards, because there's some good like proxy custom card printers out there that look like legitimate cards. I'm like, I have high quality PNGs. Like, what if I send these to you and you print? The only problem is it's expensive, but like I want to print like 3 of each of these and just play for fun, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody to play for fun with these custom cards, but I'm like dying to test these out. I made like, since Toon Summon Skull sucks so bad, to make Toon Skull Dragon, I made Toon Skull Archfiend of Lightning, where the first thing it says in its effect in parentheses, this card is always treated as Toon Summon Skull, and then he actually has a good effect. You don't need to use Toon Summon Skull for Toon Skull Dragon. In fact, I did something unique with him where I said, once per turn, while you control Toon World, you can discard 1 Toon card, then activate 1 spell trap from your hand, field, or deck with lightning in its card name, ignoring its cost and activation requirements. Also, this card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. So, say hello to discarding a Toon card and then activating Lightning Storm from your deck without having to worry about Toon Kingdom being on your field to prevent it from being used. So
I was going to say that, my friend, is the proper way how you errata a card. You change everything and then be like, this is treated as Summon Skull. Okay, all right, good.
It's treated as Thousand Eyes Idol.
Oh, good, great.
Oh, I can use it now. It's not just going to sit in my deck to be used as fusion material like Red Eyes Black Dragon, who's actually playable in his own archetype, but not in Dark Magicians.
Yeah, Thousand Eyes. Speaking of Thousand Eyes, he sucks. Yeah. They needed to make a golden.
Relinquish is one of my favorite monsters, and it's like I don't use him, and I would make a Relinquish deck, but hearing that he's not that strong, after spending the money on the tunes and them not being as strong, I'm like, I don't want to spend money on a deck that's gonna not be meta.
I have a deck build of Relinquish also.
I think that we should one of these days like stream playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On Dueling Book and just having fun with different decks.
I agree. I had to get into Dueling Book and see how to like win it. Like
basically, like playing. It's basically I don't want to say there's no coding involved, because obviously there's coding for placing cards on the field and stuff. But the way it works is you have to know the rules. Like if you play a card, it's not going to do anything. You have to manually like shift through your deck. You have to manually pull the card out of your deck and put it on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think it's ever going to be like taken down, because it's not replacing the game. It's basically like, it's just like a bunch of cards that aren't coded to do anything. You know?
You just you do everything manually on your own. I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of like I gotta know where to download it and all this stuff.
And it's a perfect way to test out cards too and decks. I was doing a Go format deck with a friend, and like I missed all those old cards. I'm like, this game is actually lasting more than 2 turns.
Yeah, right. I will say
it's Don Zalou again. Like, wow.
I will say this format is a lot better than other formats. Just because we have a lot. If you ask anybody, like a lot of the cards are like a lot of the meta is way more balanced now. So it's still it still plays fast and all this stuff or whatnot, but it's just not as crazy as it used to be. But I still do miss lasting like, can I get like a 5-turn game? You know what I mean? Like, dang, like at least 5 turns. Like, geez.
I'll tell you, a couple of times when I was playing against my friend's deck, I was going first, and I think with Dark Magician, if you're using Dragoon in your extra deck, I think you want to typically go first, because if you pick up Red Eyes Fusion, you want to get that Dragoon out on the first turn. Yeah. So like, a couple of times I succeeded in doing that, and then it came my friend's turn, and he used Evenly Matched. So that just like basically, if you have more cards than me, you're gonna banish everything until you have the same amount as me. And since he had nothing on his field except the card he just played, I had to choose one to keep and banish everything else. I'm like, no, but I get to keep my Dragoon out. Right. So it's like I have an empty field, but Dragoon is sitting there by himself.
That's dangerous by itself.
At least he can stick up for himself. You know, I have cards in my hands, so I can negate something. So, which... Man, we're going on 3 hours now just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
I know, right?
But, all right, before we go, what are your thoughts on Dragoon not getting banned in the July ban list?
We just had the ban list, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a July ban list. And when I saw a YouTube video saying, like, new July ban list, I'm like, there's a July ban list? Because last time I was playing the game where, like, a new ban list was coming out all the time, it was spring and fall. Like, what they do 3 or 4 times a year now?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like, I don't know why Dragoon is banned in the OCG and he's at 3 in the TCG.
The TCG, right? I think that Dragoon not being, I think that's perfectly fine. I don't have no problem with it. I think if you can't, you got it, because like you can handle people. There are so many outs to Dragoon now, so it's just like if you and people want him banned because people got tired of seeing him a whole bunch of it, but like he's not really dominating the meta right now. So it's like,
is the OCG that different from the TCG? Why is he banned there?
I don't know. Like I have no idea. They the TCG
they have more cards than we do, so it's like, how do they not have a way of dealing with him? But we do.
The OCG has like a really big like they got a thing out for like ABCs for some reason. Like they don't like the ABC cards at all.
What are the ABC cards?
The you know how Kaiba had the like the wide dragon head and the them like that whole archetype. They have an issue with them. So like they will. You said what?
What do you mean they have an issue?
Like you can tell they'll keep banning cards from that deck so that the deck is like not playable.
But it's already not playable, even with all the cards.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's already
like banning Toon cards when the deck already can't do like.
I don't exactly. I don't know like that. I don't know.
It's like banning Thousand Eyes Idol.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe people had like maybe it may be the same way here.
Relinquish is a problem. Let's ban Thousand Eyes Idol.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, okay. That stops Relinquished.
But the only problem I had with this ban list is that they banned Miscellaneous Source. They brought it down to 1, and I was just like, dude.
Is he a threat though?
Huh?
Is he a threat?
What, Miscellaneous Source?
Yeah.
No.
I'm not too familiar with like other decks other than the ones I'm building because I'm so new to the meta that like the only cards I know are like what I'm using.
So Miscellaneous Source only works in dinosaur decks. Mm-hmm. And he basically is a shield. He like you can't really do anything to your opponent if you use Miscellaneous Source. So like if you use him, he's protecting all your dinosaur monsters. Your opponent's not gonna be able to do anything against him, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, there are so many cards that can counter Miscellaneous Source. It's like why why'd y'all ban them? Like it was you could tell like it was a hit because either people were complaining about it or they just want to hit dinos.
I don't understand why they target stuff sometimes, and I still don't know why Dragoon is not banned when he is in the OCG. Like, I don't think he really needs to be banned because, like, you have to put stuff in your deck just to use him. Once he's out, he's a threat, but if they make more anti-Dragoon cards, like cards like Forbidden Droplets and stuff, then I don't think it'll be that big of a deal to keep him in the meta. But why is the OCG ban him? Do they know something that we don't? And they're not sharing their secret strategies?
They have different cards that are banned and all that stuff or whatnot. So it might shift the way that everything is played and all that.
The fact that they have different cards that are banned makes me feel like the cards that get banned are not based on legitimate reasons, but just like what people feel like. Like, I don't like this card, so it's banned.
That's part of it. I think that's part of it. I think if there's a big enough of an outcry, that'll happen. And then I also think it's also because they if they just want to sell new cards, they'll whatever the top decks are, they'll just start hitting them. So that's why
it's like when they banned Tsukuyomi and Book of Moon or something, where it's like only one of the two cards was the problem.
Yeah.
Like, why? Let's just ban every single card in here. I think Thousand Eyes Restrict got banned when he himself wasn't the problem back in the day.
And my thing is also like with Dragoon, like if y'all would people were talking about hit Dragoon, I was like, no. I was like, what's causing everybody to use Dragoon is Red Eyes Fusion. I was like, that is the card that needs to be limited.
Fusion, then the Red Eyes that's like a Red Eyes support card. So like, I could see
Red Eyes Fusion.
Yeah, I can see it not being broken in a Red Eyes deck that's not using Dragoon.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that card is.
Dragoon is the problem. Yeah.
You said what?
Dragoon is the problem.
He said Dragoon is the problem. No, but like think about it though. Like if you take out Red Eyes Fusion, no one's going to be able to use it but Dark Magician. Like pretty much Dark Magician and Red Eyes.
I would still have them in my extra deck.
Whoa.
I mean, it would be slower to get them out. I'd have to rely on Secrets of Dark Magic, I guess.
That's what I'm saying, though. But you would still be able to pull it off, with a fair enough ease, with pretty much ease.
But I can't use Secrets of Dark Magic with Predaplant Ready Anaconda. I guess if I could find a way to dump Red Eyes into the graveyard, I can use Magical Eyes Fusion.
Yeah.
So that might give you reason to use you can
use
what's that card? You mill it from the deck. Oh, well, mill is specifically from the top, but Foolish Burial.
True.
But I wouldn't really want to use Foolish Burial just to throw a brick card in the graveyard.
Well, you got M-Duck and you got Dark Magician, so you got Dragoon. You know what I mean? Like you don't need Red Eyes. You can just have a Dragon type.
That's true.
Yeah,
you're right.
So
there is some spellcaster support from dragons.
Exactly.
There's also Imp Duck. I would run 3 of him to just link out Dark Magician with Imp Duck, and then
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder if anybody listening knows what we're talking about for the past half hour.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it in to see if anybody is interested in listening. But whatever.
Might be time to end it.
Yeah, let's end it because we're hitting 3 hours. I can't believe we're hitting 3 hours. I was like, we usually go for 1 hour, but we had a special guest today. We didn't last week, and we still went for a long time. But you know what? I don't care. We're having a good conversation, and we just kept jumping from topic to topic. We were about to end it at an hour-ish, and we were like, "So let's talk about Pokemon." And you're like, "Don't get me started on Pokemon." I'm gonna get him started on Pokemon. I'm gonna get him started on Pokemon. So, all right, let's stop it here. I think that's enough that I got to listen to for the next couple of days before this is going to be aired now. So where can they find you? They, as in anybody listening. I'm gonna have links in the description. But if you're lazy like me, you're not gonna want to look in the description. So tell us where we can find you.
Just look for me on YouTube, Monthly Gamer. I'm surprisingly the only monthly gamer on YouTube.
With a space
And-
between monthly and gamer.
Yeah, space between monthly and gamer. And then same thing with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, but nobody cares about Facebook. But pretty
Oh
much
my
the same
god!
thing.
I remember when it was actually something.
You're right.
Anyway, so I guess that's it. Anything else you want to leave off on?
Nah, man, it was great. It was great, talking to you and all that.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
really like to do it
You
again.
come back on again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Love to have you as a regular. I realized today that you are fun to talk to. No, I already
Thank you.
assumed so because we were talking for a while in like messages, but whatever. I'm trying to be funny. All right. I guess
All
that's it. Bye, everyone.
All right.
Where's my national text?